and they.
Hey,
but everywhere else, I've always enjoyed Auburn.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if Lance, you may have a further update, Jim. Maybe some news about that location.
Yeah, I have not gotten a further
update.
Not yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Is that possibility for us?
Well, yeah. But it's an interesting brand.
Yeah.
Oh,
place we used to like to go.
I thought it was going to be like a studio for us.
Oh, no.
No.
I was about to say, we'd never get that smell out. It always smelled like shrimp on the Barbie.
Shopping mall in South China.
Because the one thing the three of us needs is a studio even closer to us.
Yeah. That would be nice. That location's great.
Because that 8-minute drive is too much. Yeah. We need it closer to us now.
Shopping mall in South China sparked online discussion in recent days after reportedly installing smart glass that switches from a milky frosted state to transparent when someone is detected smoking inside of a restroom cubicle, while simultaneously triggering an alarm warning. Now, in the male restrooms on the B1 floor of this center, warning signs posted beside toilet cubicles fitted with special glass. Sign reads, quote, "Smoking will make the glass transparent. Do not lose control and end up becoming an online sensation." It is also accompanied by a cartoon-style social death expression, implying that smoking inside will result in a sharp loss of personal aura points. Mall notice explains that an intelligent smoke sensing control system has been activated at the site. If smoke is detected, cubicle glass will automatically turn fully transparent with an audible alarm is triggered.
Well, this is an extreme step to stop smoking in the bathroom, but I don't know about you guys. Sachs High School, that's where everybody went to smoke, and I hated going in the bathroom and somebody had just smoked and the fog of stink of smoke is in there.
Let me tell you.
Butts are in the toilet.
Yeah, we didn't get that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I did back when I was younger because smoking was not as it was basically Mad Men just after that. On the golf course yesterday, we're outside on a windy day, and I'm on the driving range, and the people coming off of number 9 at Ballantrae, Brownie comes driving past me, and they were not smoking, but they smelled of cigarettes. Like they were smokers. Oh, wow. I could tell just driving by. That's how sensitive my nose is to smoking. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. You could smell that as far away as they were.
Yeah, and they come driving by, and I looked at my buddy, and I was like, God, that's a cart full of smokers there.
I mean, there's some people, I mean, that we work with that are very, not in our company, but in our building there, back where you guys are, that are very nice people, but they go outside and smoke it. If you happen to catch an elevator with them on the way back up, I mean, it's overwhelming. And I'm like, man, I just don't know if you realize how bad that smells on you.
Yeah, you don't.
But boy, it used to be so prevalent. I mean, I'll never forget, smoking or non-smoking are first available.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You ever take first available?
Non-smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I would.
Favorite Next Round gear all in one place, nextround.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at nextround.store. Take the next round anywhere with nextround.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
You know what, D? I hate being on this highway with all these 18-wheelers. I don't know what I'd do if I got in an accident with one.
First, call 911 to report the accident, and then hit up the gators of the litigation situation. Alexander Shannara Trial Attorney, because accidents with 18-wheelers, delivery truck, and construction vehicles are complicated. Call 1-800-229-7989 or hit them up at Shannara.com. Alexander Shannara Trial Attorney. We go deeper. We fight harder. We win bigger.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Good morning. Live now. Red Ball's watching in Nashville. Brett's in Dayton. Andy's in Huntsville. And Brownie's out in California as we broadcast all over this great country of ours, leading into the Rose Bowl. and a trip to the national championship game. Brown, before we jump in and before anybody says it in the chat room, that shot Brown has there reminds me of, let me go back in rock and roll history. Forrester, give me Leonard Skinner album. I think it's the last one before the plane crash. Leonard Skinner, what is that? Street Survivors? Is that what that's called? Street Survivors? Now Brown's shot out in Venice Beach, Marina del Rey, L.A., Pasadena. We're waking up the echoes. One more time, Leonard Skinner, cover for me. And now Brown in California. Good morning, Brownie. How are you?
Good morning. If I could be half as cool as one of the Van Zants, that'd be awesome, right? Johnny Van Zant was the coolest, wasn't he?
I've been saying that for years. Yes, if you were as cool as one of the Van Zants, that would be fantastic. So
yes.
I just, as soon as I saw your shot popped up, I told Forrester, I said, give me Leonard Skinner, the Fire album. I don't know what it's called, but it's the one when they're all walking in fire. So while you're out there, the weather apparently not as bad as you first thought it was going to be yet today, unless you're under some covering there.
I am under covering. It is. It's cloudy. It's not going to be rainy today. The rain starts tomorrow, and last I checked, I think 100% chance of rain on game day. That doesn't necessarily mean during the game, though they are saying to expect it during the game, but it is going to rain. Now, keep in mind, I mean, not that I've lived out here, but you know this, Jim. I mean, the weather can vary differently from the coast to Pasadena. It is quite a distance there. So hopefully the best, but fear the worst for weather in this game on what day is it? On Thursday. I got to remember what day of the week we're on right now. On Thursday.
Yeah, so it's the forecast is something a lot of people are talking about and whether it'll impact the game or not. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on as we progress. But Alabama arrived last night. You were there as the team arrived at the hotel. Before we talk a little X's and O's, tell me about the team arrival and how everything looked there at the team hotel.
Pretty laid back. You know, it's look, Kalen DeBoer, you know, Jim, you know probably Kalen DeBoer better than Lance and I. I mean, we all know him, but you probably know him better than I. You would probably, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but of all the coaches you've dealt with, would you say he's among the nicest, if not the nicest, just person that you've ever dealt with as far as a coach?
Yes. Even we see video of them getting off the bus now last night, Kalen DeBoer coming in. Getting some roses, as you do at the Rose Bowl. It's not Pop-Tarts. So he's picking up the roses as he gets off the bus here. Yeah, absolutely. He is, you know, all due respect to Mike Shula, he's slightly nicer than Mike Shula. And Mike Shula was very, very nice. And Kalen DeBoer.
I was about to say, that's an extremely high bar. Yeah,
Kalen DeBoer is right there with Mike Shula in the niceness department. I think Kalen has exceeded Mike Shula in getting this team to the playoffs. Other than that, they're both very nice individuals, nice human beings.
So the only thing I was going to point out, and Scott showed the video, when he gets off the bus, he's handed the rose, and he I don't want to say it was like The Bachelor, but he acted kind of surprised that he got the rose. Like, and he was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And then he walked around and thanked all the Rose Bowl staff that was assembled there, that were handing out roses to some of the people involved, some of the Alabama, dignitaries. It just struck me. I mean, look, it's a team arrival. I didn't expect, I guess the only notable team arrival I can remember, and I know you'll remember this, was when Miami played Penn State out in the desert. What was that, like 86, 87, somewhere in there in the Fiesta Bowl? And they get off the plane wearing fatigues. Miami does. Now, Penn State won the game, so it was a bad move by Miami. But that made big-time news because they were wearing fatigue. So my point there is, you know this, you've covered a lot of these, a team arrival isn't necessarily the most noteworthy thing. I was just struck by Kalen DeBoer just being a nice dude, man, just walking around thanking everybody for being there and welcoming them, thanked them for the roses. And then they immediately went to a team meeting, which is interesting. They had just flown, 4.5 hours? As a team, and there were two planes. What video Scott showed you was the team and the coordinators and maybe all the assistants. I'm not sure. And then some of the support staff was on the second plane. That was the first plane that arrived there. And they immediately go to a team meeting. Didn't last long, probably 15, 20 minutes. And then Josh Cuevas and Damani Jackson came out and spoke with us, and we'll have some of that later. So it was kind of all business, just normal road trip, except that you're about to play in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, so Brownie's out there covering the game. We'll talk X's and O's after he tells us about the great folks at the Inverness Country Club. Brownie, tell us about Inverness, and we'll get rolling today as we get ready for the big one. Alabama trying to apparently shock the world and beat Indiana. Tell us about Inverness.
Yeah, Inverness Country Club, a great place to be a member. You need to reach out to Erin at Inverness Country Club. Erin Hilliard, good friend of ours, friend of the show. She's been with us a long time, as has Inverness Country Club. ICCalabama.com is where you go, ICCalabama.com for all the information. Resort-style pool when it starts to warm up. I know it's cold back there in Birmingham, but eventually spring and summer will be here. You're going to want that resort-style pool, an incredible clubhouse with amazing food, great golf course, just a great place to be a member. So if you're looking for a place to be a member, Inverness Country Club is the place to go. ICCalabama.com to find out more information and schedule a tour, as so many of you have done with our friend Erin. You can contact her right there or call 205-991-8608, 205-991-8608, or ICCalabama.com.
And our friends at Hemphill Services, they bring you Lance's Lock every night. You can get plays on 3 bowl games today at lanceslock.com. Our friends at Hemphill are there for you, whether you're experiencing plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or your business. Our friends at Hemphill help you out. 205-229-2090. 229-2090 with our friends at Hemphill. And I'll tell you one thing about Hemphill is you go to their website and you check things out at hemphillservices.com. You'll find they've got a 24-hour, 7 days a week emergency hotline that you can call right there, and they'll help you out. Plumbing, heating, and air, and they've got it all for you. Why you choose a local heating, cooling, and plumbing company? You do it because of everything that Hemphill offers, and they've been doing it since the 1950s. They're fully qualified, insured, and all their work absolutely guaranteed with our friends at Hemphill Services. Availability reports are out. Alabama's about as healthy as they've been in a long, long time since they went on that streak of winning 4 straight games. That includes Josh Cuevas, who is back healthy. Listen to Josh, and then I'll ask Brown what his takeaway from the Cuevas news conference was. Josh gives a lot of credit to Jeff Allen and the training staff at Alabama, with him being back in action for the Rose Bowl.
Oh, I'm feeling great. I mean, shout out to our training staff. They're the best of the best. I mean, I legit broke my foot in the middle of the season and came back same season. So, I mean, that's a tribute to them. And, I mean, I'm ready to go for this game. And given that we've had a little bit extra time to prepare, a little bit extra time for guys to heal up and stuff like that, it's going to be even better. If there was a will, there's a way. And once they told me that, it's not something that's surgical, it's not something that's super serious or kind of long-term, I was like, okay, let's get to rehab, and we're going to rehab it hard.
He rehabbed it hard, Brownie. He was a contributor, a big one, in the win at Oklahoma, and now a little bit more rest. What was your takeaway from the Cuevas news conference and him admitting finally, like we'd all heard, it was actually a broken foot that has him back out on the field?
That was the takeaway. He talked for a few minutes there. There's another good, and I know Scott has that we'll send out on social media or maybe even in the show, where he talked about just the journey. It's a pretty remarkable journey, honestly, to go from where he was to be playing in the Rose Bowl. But just the fact that he'll get to play in the Rose Bowl is the big newsmaker there, Jim. And yeah, like you said, I mean, dude had a broken foot and committed to the rehab. I mean, think about this, and this is kind of what I was thinking of I left the team hotel there. When he missed the Auburn game and the SEC championship game, he's rehabbing, not knowing if he's rehabbing for the college football playoff or rehabbing for the Pop-Tarts Bowl, And I think that speaks highly of him. I mean, Alabama was far from a guarantee to make the college football playoffs, especially when you go back to just before the Auburn game. I mean, if they lose the Iron Bowl, they probably are out, right, of the college football playoffs. If they lose the Georgia game, it's far from a guarantee. They end up making it in, obviously. But I was just struck by the fact that the man, like he said, he just put his head down and started rehabbing, not knowing what he was even rehabbing for. It's not like he was guaranteed to be in the college football playoff. He might have been rehabbing to get healthy after the Georgia game, and all he got left was the Pop-Tarts Bowl. But I think that speaks highly of Josh Cuevas and his desire just to play football for Alabama.
Couple of big items on the Indiana availability report. Confirmed with out, so not playing in the game, is Stephen Daly, the big defensive end, the edge rusher, with 19 tackles for a loss this year. He is a big loss for them. part of that not deep but talented starting unit for Indiana that has them number 1 in the country. So that's a big loss. On the positive side for Indiana is they get back full speed, full go wide receiver Omar Cooper, who was banged up in the Ohio State win, the Big Ten championship game. He's the guy that had the acrobatic catch that beat Penn State, saved their undefeated season. They would have still been in the playoffs, but they probably wouldn't be the 1 seed. I don't know. They may still be the 1 seed. I don't know. But Omar Cooper saved the day in Happy Valley. He is a big contributor. One of their 2 great wide receivers opposite of Surratt. And Omar Cooper is full speed, not on the availability report, and he is a game changer, Brownie, that other receiver that Alabama's secondary will have to worry about.
Yeah, and not that it works this way, Jim, but I think if you would have told Alabama fans you could have LT Overton back, they get Omar Cooper back, Alabama fans sign right up for that one, right? But you're right. I mean, the guy is a tremendous receiver. Look no further than the one play you talked about. That is one of the best catches you will see in that situation. The catch he made in the back of the end zone at Happy Valley against Penn State to avoid disaster. Well, I shouldn't say disaster because you're right. They could have still been the 1 seed even with that loss. But to avoid a loss at Penn State, and that was going to be a tough loss for them, and he made a tremendous catch at the back of the end zone. That's the type of playmaking ability he brings. And as you said, it's another challenge to that Alabama secondary. I am fascinated to know, Jim, how often you'll see Zabian Brown, who's to me, and I don't look at the film, Brooks Austin's coming up later. He's the film guy. He could probably answer this better than me or you, but Zabian Brown seems to be playing to an elite level right now. So I think if you can get, Omar Cooper and Zabian Brown one-on-one, that'll be a fun matchup to watch, however often we get it Thursday afternoon at the Rose Bowl.
So that is the availability report. We'll talk about the other bowl playoff games and their availability report. I will tell you the biggest one is Kewan Lacey, the running back for Ole Miss. He is probable after that shoulder injury in the win over Tulane. So that is big for you Ole Miss fans as we get ready for that Sugar Bowl showdown with Georgia and Ole Miss. We'll make some picks here in the opening segment of the 4 playoff games. LT traveling today. He's not with us. He and Brooks are on their way out to join Brownie. They will be on location for the show tomorrow. It's just the 2 of us today in our plans of the Rose Bowl coverage. In the final hour, as Brown heads to Media Day, I'll be joined by Connor O'Gara and Brooks Austin in the final hour of the show as we break down the playoff games, specifically Alabama-Indiana with Connor O'Gara, Indiana grad, and then a little more with Georgia, Ole Miss, and Bama-Indiana with Brooks Austin coming up at 11:45 on the show to end the show with. Before we make our picks, Brown, I want you to tell us about our friends at Bojangles, and let's get started with some picks. And those Bowberry biscuits and everything gets you started right. We're going to get started with some picks this morning.
Yeah, we will do that, and a great pick is Bojangles for, what about that segue, for your college football watch parties, whether it is Wednesday night or Thursday on New Year's Day. If you're having a New Year's Eve party, Bojangles a great idea. Those hand-breaded chicken tenders, the great fried chicken, the Bo Bites, those mini chicken tenders that you can dip right there in that peach honey pepper sauce. It is fantastic. All the great sides, the biscuits, the great sides, the tea, all right there at your local Bojangles. Jim mentioned that Bowberry biscuit, great way to start your day. I recommend getting a chicken filet, the Cajun chicken filet in the middle of it. It is fantastic at Bojangles. So whether it is breakfast, lunch today, dinner tonight, or any of your college football watch parties or New Year's Eve parties, make it Bojangles, where it is always bow time.
Absolutely. Always bow time there. And also our friends at Sleep Home Alabama, your opportunity to get a great night's sleep right now with Alabama's best home sleep testing and CPAP devices there. Locations in Pelham, Trussville, Birmingham, even down in Foley and Troy, if you're watching us down there today. SleepHomeAlabama.com is the website, CPAP Plus there. And we want to tell you about the great folks at O'Neill Medical. They provide you the great best brands and services when it comes to the Air Mini CPAPs, the AirSense 11. They have great testing for you available today that you can just walk in and get great testing. They've got the Night Owl home sleep screen there at a great price. They've got the full mask, the easy travel. They accept insurance there. They have it all for you with our friends at O'Neill Medical and CPAP Plus. Go see everything they have to offer right there at Alabama's best home sleep testing and CPAP, sleephomealabama.com, sleephomealabama.com. And look, you don't have to wait weeks to get the sleep test. They can do that for you today. That's right. So when you go in there today, sleephomealabama.com, our friends at CPAP Plus. All right, Brandy, let's pick some games here. And we're going to do this with the point spread, so that brings in the totals as well. Because I'm interested in how you think the games play out. Do you think we get a score fest? Do you think we get some defensive-minded games, close games, blowouts? Because before we pick games, I want to say I'm excited. This weekend, these 4 games are the type of matchups I expected when we went to the college football playoffs. We had the seeding screwed up last year, so we had some bad first-round games, and because we had the automatic qualifying, not really top 4 seeds put out into the quarterfinals this round last year, we didn't have the best of the best second-round games either. That changes this year. I think we've got 4 really good contests. Do you agree with that? Because we got the seeding right. This weekend gives us the best weekend yet of the college football playoffs?
Like if in the last expansion, Jim, instead of 12, they had only go to 8, and this is the 8 you get, we would say, man, we've got this thing right.
Yes.
Wouldn't we?
Yes.
If this was the 8 teams we had, we would be like, okay, we got it right. There's no more need for expansion. But then when you see the 12 team and the 2 teams that got in there out of the group of 5, you look at it and you're like, why don't we expand it to 16? So it's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, this 8-team playoff right here that we have left is exactly what I want the playoffs to be. These are all good teams. These are good games, a lot of good brands in here. This is what I want the college football playoffs to be. I agree with you 100%.
Miami and Ohio State starts us off coming up Wednesday night, 6:30 ESPN. That is the Cotton Bowl game. By the way, Miami's last Cotton Bowl, maybe their only Cotton Bowl, that's the one, if you ever watched the 30 for 30, remember that? That's when they did all the dancing and up the tunnel, and they had over 200 yards of penalties in that game, most of them unsportsmanlike conduct penalties.
And won like 45-3, didn't they?
I think it was 46-3.
Going away.
Yeah, I think it was like 46-3 or something.
Yeah.
But 202 yards of penalties. I think that's their only Cotton Bowl. It's their last one, so they're back. Not in the Cotton Bowl Stadium. They play this at the Cowboy Stadium out in Arlington. Miami and Ohio State. And the first thing I want to say about this game, Brownie, is this the best defensive line Ohio State has faced this year? Because Indiana's good, Texas is good. That was their bookend games that they played. Yeah. I don't think Michigan's in the not in the same class as Texas, Indiana this year. And then there's Miami. I don't know if you think Miami can win, but if they do, maybe they win because of their defense.
Well, Bain and Mesidor are handfuls, and Texas A&M learned that, and everybody that's played Miami learned that. They are very, very good up front defensively. Here's what I would ask you. You just mentioned the 3 best teams they played, right? Texas, Indiana, and Michigan. Do you know what their points were against those teams?
Oh, I know they were Texas and Indiana totaled 24, right? 14 and 10.
That's right. And then Michigan was 27, to be fair. But when I look at it, I'm like, man, are the 2 best defenses they played Texas and Indiana? Yes. And Texas, everybody was it's the first game of the year against Texas, so everybody's perfectly healthy, right? Now I will, I'll give Sayin a little grace. It was his first start and all those things, but check, right? 24 total points in those 2 games. Is this Miami defense as good as those? Maybe not, but are they playing to that elite level right now? Absolutely they are. You saw that in the Texas A&M game. A&M could do very little against that Miami defense. So 9.5 feels like a lot of points here. And the total, I was looking at that just a second ago, is what, 40.5?
40.5 is what I have, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the pro here, Jim, but what's wrong with Miami plus 9.5 and under the 40.5? I kind of like that play.
Yeah, I'm going to only play the under in this one. If Ohio State wins it, I think it's going to be a lot like the Big Ten championship game. I don't know if Miami can score on Ohio State. I don't think they can score on Ohio State's defense either.
Yeah, because double-edged sword. I just brought up the Texas A&M game, and what was Miami's offense like against A&M's defense? Not very good, right? There was one touchdown that whole game. So I mean, I would just say, here's all I would say is, if you like the under, which I do too, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
9.5 is 9.5. You got to thread a small needle right there, right? For Ohio State to cover the 9.5 and that game to still stay under 40.5.
Yeah, but it could feel like a blowout, 27-6, Ohio State, and that's still under. Yeah, if I'm doing my math right, that's still under 40.5. So I'm going to go under. If I was going to do the parlay, I'd do the Ohio State and the under and give the points and the under. But I'm going to just the under for me. And you're going to take Miami and the points and the under? Or
That's
just,
right.
Okay, Miami and the points and the
under. I like
under.
them both. I like Miami plus 9.5 and under 40.5.
One note on this game, if you remember or don't remember, Ryan Day calling plays again. Because Brian Hartline's out, right? Ryan Day's picking up the play calling again in this contest, if I'm correct.
He may be calling plays, but I thought Hartline was staying with him through the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying Day's not calling plays and Hartline's still there, but I thought Hartline was staying through the playoffs, but I could be wrong.
I thought I'd seen somewhere in the lead up to this game that Ryan Day was going to be back calling plays. So that is something to watch, even if it's a distracted play caller. That's an interesting game. So we agree there. Both of us don't expect Miami, Ohio State to score a lot of points.
Yeah, and by the way, on that train of thought there about the play calling, Miami is one of the few teams, Alabama's won two, where their coordinators aren't getting taken away from them after whatever their last game is. There are so many coordinators and even on down the line assistants, and Alabama is affected by that, obviously, but that are done whenever their team is done. That is to me a significant storyline in this playoffs, but Miami so far has avoided that.
Yeah, Alabama's got a couple of assistants that'll be moving on too. More on the Indiana-Alabama game in a moment. Let's go to the early game Orange Bowl. By the way, the cheapest get-in ticket is Friday night Ohio State. Now, it's not the cheapest overall ticket, but we'll talk ticket prices later on. And then the second cheapest ticket is Texas Tech and Oregon playing all the way down in Miami across the country from Oregon's fan base, and Texas Tech should be a lot of fans there as they're doing this playoff thing for the first time. I can't get out of my mind, Brownie, how James Madison kept moving the football. I know a lot of it was mop-up time in the second half, but when I watched the first half, and apparently with the TV ratings, I was one of the few people that watched the entirety of this game. But even James Madison moved the ball in the first half against Oregon. I'm worried about the Oregon defense against Texas Tech in this one.
Well, I mean, you're not alone. Dan Lanning said the same thing. Right after the game, Dan Lanning was like, this is a bittersweet win. We won the game. We advanced in the playoffs, but I am not happy with the way we played. So you wonder what that leads to. Is that a flaw in Oregon's defense? There again, I don't want to keep harping on this storyline, but Tosh Lapoya is going to Cal, the Oregon defensive coordinator. So was that a factor in this? Was James Madison just a tough matchup? Those are all questions you don't know. And the other aspect of that, did that refocus Oregon's defense? Did they look at that and say, okay, we thought we could just throw that gaudy helmet out there against James Madison and didn't have to play hard. We can't do that against Texas Tech. So I do. I'm with you on that. This is, to me, Jim, and I don't know if you feel the same way, this is the toughest game to get a feel for. I don't know if it's because it's Texas Tech, who, frankly, I didn't watch a ton of this year, and Oregon, who, frankly, I didn't watch a ton of this year. I've watched all these other teams much more, but I don't know if you would agree. This one is the one that it's the strangest, toughest to get a feel for matchup of the entire week.
I would say this, that for those that haven't watched Texas Tech, they like Miami, like Ohio State, probably put Indiana in that group too. Their front seven is legit, and some people would make a case that Texas Tech's front seven may be the best in the playoffs left. And when you look at who Oregon has played this year, remember they didn't play Ohio State. They played Indiana and lost at home, and they played Penn State. They didn't play Ohio State. So I'm wondering, can this Oregon offense, I'm worried about their defense, but I'm really worried about, can their offense protect Dante Moore against Rodriguez and that front seven from Texas Tech in that early game on January 1?
Yeah, don't forget, I mean, there was Heisman discussion for Rodriguez. That's the type of player he is. I think it's one of those things, and I was talking to somebody the other day who's admittedly a casual football fan, and he was talking about this game because he's an Alabama fan, and he knows the winner. When I say casual, I mean he's a hardcore Alabama fan, but he's at all the games. He even goes to all the road games, so he's not at home watching TV every weekend, right?
Yes.
And he was talking about this game because Alabama gets the winner. And he's like, man, Texas Tech, just always that great offensive team. We'll have our hands full. And I'm like, yeah, actually this year they're good on offense, but they're really good on defense. And it's just kind of against type is my point for Texas Tech. When you think of them, you generally think Mike Leach offense or Cliff Kingsbury offense. But this is a different team under Joey McGuire. They like you said, they are legit in the front seven, play really good defense. Again, I kind of like a low-scoring game in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go under the 51.5.
Yeah.
Because I'll ask you this: do you factor in any rust at all for the teams that didn't play? I do.
Yes, yeah. I do. But Texas Tech. Now, if this were the Mike Leach, Cliff Kingsbury era, Texas Tech, I'd be a lot more worried about that. But they are such a good defensive team. I think they can overcome that a little bit. I don't know how much it's going to impact Indiana either because of that. So these really good defensive teams. Ohio State, I think, is in that group. I think it impacts them less because they're not just dependent on a high-powered offense. They play really good defense as well. But I do think it's a factor. And real quick, because this fits here, can I just say I think as we do the college football playoffs, we continue to stumble into these flaws. This is a flaw that you're asking Oregon and Texas Tech fans to choose, do I go to Miami now for this game, or do I buy the chance that my team makes the national championship and then go to Miami? How many Oregon and Texas Tech fans can afford, outside the oil man and the Nike people, can afford 2 trips to Miami within 2 weeks' time from where they live?
Yeah.
That's expensive. And I just, to me, that is a flaw in this system that these two teams could potentially play in Miami twice. Doesn't affect the players or the gameplay, but it affects the fans. And ultimately, I'd like to think the fans play some sort of role in this.
I would say this: of the 8 teams that are left, back to the games on the field, the 8 teams that are left playing, I think this is number 7 and number 8 quarterbacks. These are the 2 worst quarterbacks of the 8 teams left. Agree or disagree?
I think I'm with you on that one.
I mean, Beck and Sayin. You have the Heisman Trophy winner and Ty Simpson, maybe 2 first-round quarterbacks. And then you have Stockton and Trinidad Chambliss. I think Morton and Moore are the 2 worst quarterbacks of the 8 that are left.
Yeah, I could live with that.
Prove me wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't think I am.
Yeah, I mean, we'll only time will tell. You have to watch the games and if they continue to advance. But as of right now, I think if you were drafting quarterbacks, those might be the last 2 that go in this playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you on that.
We'll skip Indiana, Alabama for the second. The nightcap on January 1's the Sugar Bowl. Boy, this was such a fun game. If you forget, Ole Miss went to play in Athens against Georgia, 21-20 at the half, 35-26 at the end of the third quarter. Georgia behind by 9, behind at the half, behind by 9 at the third quarter, and then they outscored Ole Miss 17-0 in the fourth quarter. The final 3 possessions, Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin calling plays and Charlie Weiss Jr., 11 plays, 13 yards in the fourth quarter in their final 11 plays. Something changed for Georgia in that fourth quarter that they've carried to this point. I like Georgia. I like giving the points in this one at 6.5. That's my favorite play of these 4 games. Georgia giving the points.
So when it comes to Georgia, something I think we just kind of blow off. Their offense the last 2 games has not been good. Would you give me that? I mean, you can say in the SEC championship game that they knew they didn't have to score a lot because Alabama's offense could do nothing, and that's a fair discussion. But keep in mind, 14 of their 28 points in that game came from a punt block that put them on the doorstep, and Alabama having to go for that 4th down late in the game, which basically gave them the ball inside the 10. That's 28 points right there. I mean,
are you going under again? Are you saying no points in this one either?
I'm just saying, I mean, what has Georgia's offense done in the last two games? And the reason I say the last two games, because you're like, well, you're nitpicking there. I think Bobo at center is a big loss for them. When he went out in that Georgia Tech game, and he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's on the availability report, right?
And he is out. He's out.
Yeah, he is out. Yeah, so they don't. He's not going to play against Ole Miss. When he went out of that Georgia Tech game, they were a different offense. They couldn't move the ball on Georgia Tech, who's not a good defense right now. And against Alabama, they didn't have 300 yards, and they were gifted 14 points by Alabama and only scored 28. I'm concerned about Georgia's offense a little bit. I think their defense is playing to an elite level. I just don't think their offense is playing that great right now. Now, as soon as I say that, they're going to go blow Ole Miss's doors off. I think I like the under in this one as well. Have I taken it over yet? Am I straight unders on this thing?
Yeah, stand by for the Rose Bowl. But yes, you took the under. I'm going to not play a total there. I'm going to take Georgia. I like under, and then Georgia given the points there. And finally, Indiana and Alabama.
Under for me. Under.
Indiana, Alabama in the Rose Bowl, brought to you by our friends Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Tell us about Alexander Shannara, Brownie, before we make our official pick on the Rose Bowl. And don't forget, the shows continue tomorrow from California, thanks to great sponsors like Alexander Shannara.
That's right. You always take the over with Shannara, right? You take the over because it's $2 billion, more than $2 billion that he has recovered for his clients, Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case. Shannara.com. Shannara.com is the website to go to with Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. And you know that they handle the personal injury cases. Obviously, everybody's aware of that. What you might not know is they handle many more cases than that. They handle the bad drug and advice cases, workers' cases. They handle so much there that they just want you to know, if you're in need of an attorney for anything, you start with Alexander Shannara. Shannara.com. Shannara.com. You don't pay a dime unless they win your case. Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Shannara.com.
Okay, no Stephen Daly, but yes, an Omar Cooper for Indiana on the availability report. We told you about that. To start the show today, Josh Cuevas is good to go. Alabama's LT Overton's good to go. Alabama's about as healthy as they can be. 3 o'clock Central kick, 1 o'clock there in Pasadena. Rain in the forecast. They'll keep the field covered until the very last possible second. Usually great footing, but inclement weather by Rose Bowl standards. All that said, Brown, give me all the points here. We're playing this at -7, 47.5, and I think it'll be a score fest. This will be an entertaining up and down points in this one, in my opinion.
Wow, that's interesting. That's against the type for what most people would say this game would play out. Here's one where I'm not going to mess with the total. I think Alabama's got a really good shot at winning this game. So I think Alabama +7 is your play here. And, you know, if Lance weren't traveling out here and he were on the show today, I guarantee you he would say, when can you get Alabama +7 points, right? You look at the last 20 years of Alabama football, I don't know the last time you've gotten anywhere close to Alabama +7. So you're going to give me 7 points at a neutral site, and we have to go on the road to get those points? Neutral site, 7 points? Yeah, give me the Crimson Tide plus the 7. I think they win the game, but even if they don't, I think Alabama +7 is the play here.
Yes, +7 with arguably the third best roster in the playoffs here. Some would say second, depending on where you put Georgia. Ohio State having the best roster, all due respect to Indiana, the stars and all the blue chips. It's Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama in some order like that, and you're getting 7 points. Big injury with Daly. I'm going to take the points, though, and go over the 47.5 in a score fest. How important are the quarterbacks? Is it 2 first-round quarterbacks in this game, in Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza? And a question that was on Get Up earlier today that bugged the crap out of me, all that coming up in our next segment. And we'll set the table on what's actually happening for the team in L.A. today for Alabama. All that coming up. The show being brought to you in its entirety today by our friends at Culver's, where you can go by and enjoy a great treat no matter where you're traveling in America.
That's absolutely right. Culver's, they're all over the place. You could celebrate a big victory or maybe just drown your sorrows a little bit in a loss with our friends at Culver's. They've got those great butter burgers right there at Culver's. The creamy custard. They've got those fresh crinkle-cut fries. It's all right there at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. Whether your team wins or loses on the field, Culver's is the first stop after the game for you. When in Birmingham, you can enjoy Culver's at Stadium Trace or Tattersall Park. But wherever you go, make Culver's part of your trip. Culver's, welcome to delicious.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, get into the shape and weight you want in 2026 with Leslie and her board-certified team. The website to go to is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Injection therapy, meal replacements, the protein bars that I'm about to have at the top of the hour here for breakfast to keep you from bad snacking. They do it all for you there, Way to Wellness, and there's no contracts, no sign-up fees, and your consultation is free. It's unbelievable, and it works. It's helped me and many more stay off of the bad calories and stay in the shape we want to be. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
You know what, D? I hate being on this highway with all these 18-wheelers. I don't know what I'd do if I got in an accident with one.
First, call 911 to report the accident, and then hit up the gators of the litigation situation. Alexander Sonora trial attorney, because accidents with 18-wheelers, delivery truck, and construction vehicles are complicated. Call 1-800-229-7989 or hit them up at Sonora.com. Alexander Sonora trial attorney. We go deeper. We fight harder. We win bigger. Call me, Alabama.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place. NextRound.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt. You can look your best by shopping with us at NextRound.store. Take the Next Round anywhere with NextRound.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. but it's only here for a limited time. So try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today.
It's bow time.
Back with you on the next round. Before we jump back into preparation for Alabama-Indiana Rose Bowl quarterfinal playoff game, yesterday during the show, in the final hour, Cam Coleman announced or at least reports came out, that he was hitting the portal from On3, and then ESPN's Pete Thamel backing it up. He instantly becomes, according to Pete Thamel, the number one wide receiver in the portal. According to On3 Sports, he becomes the number one player in the portal. So, more than quarterbacks, according to On3 Sports. Do you see Cam Coleman as that guy, Brown, the number one player in the portal?
I think you normally have to go quarterback there, don't you? Because of the impact they have on the game. So if there's a quarterback that you think is, a championship level quarterback, I would probably put him in front of Cam Coleman. But if you've already got quarterback, Cam Coleman is your number one player in the portal. I mean, you've seen what he can do. You've seen his ability. And he's played 2 years at Auburn without anybody that can get him the football. And I know, Jim, you talk to people. I've talked to people. There are differing reports on the amount of money that Cam Coleman would like. But of all the numbers I've heard, none of them are small.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. So I think he's going to want a pretty good payday coming out of this portal, but I think in a lot of ways he's earned it.
And listen, I'll say this. The loyalty thing isn't there. It just isn't for most players. It's about money.
Right.
And if I was in that situation, I would probably take the biggest paycheck too. I probably would. In fact, I think that was one of the reasons I left my old job to come here, was the thought of a different work situation and more money. So we all do that. So let's be real about that. The rules we have set up is there for players to renegotiate and go take the bigger paycheck. So if Cam Coleman indeed goes into the portal on January the 2nd, he has the right to do that, and he is probably chasing money. But here's my problem is, if you're an Auburn person, you've paid him a lot of money already. What does that buy you except, I guess, time served? You don't get that money back. You don't get the loyalty on the other end. You pay that money, and he gave you 2 years, and I guess you paid for those 2 years, and now he's out the door for more money. I wish the money that was paid to these players meant something long term, and they didn't renegotiate after every year and always take a better paycheck. And I see that maybe it's going to be Texas. We mentioned on the show, why not go to Ohio State if you're going to go chase money, go to a place where every wide receiver makes it in the NFL. I mentioned Lane Kiffin at LSU. They've got a pretty good history of putting teams in the NFL. He's got a pretty good history of LSU has a history. Lane Kiffin's got a history of running a pretty good offense. I don't know where he's going to end up. There's always the possibility Auburn could finally come up and convince him to stay somehow. Doesn't seem to be the case usually, but that's always a possibility. I just hate that, and I've got a couple of booster friends that write a check every now and then for a school. Well, you get tired, I guess, of saying, okay, here's $750,000 more dollars for the NIL. And then where's the loyalty for that? I mean, we've already put a lot of money in your pocket. Why not hang around with us for another year and then go to the NFL?
Okay. Can I play the Cam Coleman side of it then?
Oh, absolutely. I started off by saying I go for the biggest paycheck. Yeah.
I know, but so you made a case for loyalty, and I'm all for that. I think everyone values loyalty to a certain degree, right? But if I'm Cam Coleman's side, I'm like, look, I came to Auburn. Did I take money to come to Auburn? Sure, like anybody else did, right? And I think I took my fair market value. It's not my fault that the coach I bought into was not the right coach at Auburn. It's not my fault that that coach wasn't the right coach because he could never get quarterback right. I have played 2 years at Auburn. I've done everything that's been asked of me, and you never gave anybody to me that could get the ball to me. Until, for some reason, Ashton Daniels took over against Vanderbilt. All of a sudden, they start throwing me the football, right? So if I'm Coleman's side, I'm like, I've done everything asked of me. You never could get me the football. You didn't have a plan that worked. You didn't have a coach that worked. You didn't have a quarterback that worked. So I have fulfilled everything I told you I was going to fulfill. I'm going to go try this somewhere else. I think, to me, I know we talk a lot about loyalty, but that is also a reasonable argument, is it not?
Oh, 100%.
Look,
yes.
Yeah. And I know people would say give Alex Golesh a chance. Maybe he met with Alex Golesh and didn't like his vision.
Yeah.
Because now the other thing on top of that is you fired the coach that I committed to. Now, I don't deny that he needed firing, guys. I'm Cam Coleman's side here. I couldn't get the football. So, yeah, maybe he needed firing, but I didn't sign up to play for Alex Golesh. I signed up to play for Hugh Freeze. And everybody said, no, you signed up to play for Auburn. Guys, it just does not work. I mean, I know people want to live in that fairy tale land where you sign up to give it your all for Alabama or give it your all for Tennessee or give it your all for Auburn. We don't live in that world anymore. And I just think the sooner you can either accept that you don't live in that world anymore or just say, I'm going to go watch soccer instead of football, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and I would tell you make a great argument, and he's only got 1 year left because he's going to go to the pros after one more year.
That's
so,
right.
Why not try it somewhere else? It's an interesting situation. We'll see where Cam Coleman ends up. Everybody has a place on their roster for Cam Coleman, and it becomes a situation, Brownie, before you tell us about Dr. B, where you have to make decisions with the money you have, and like Alabama may make a tough financial decision about a receiver after this year's over with. Who knows? Everybody has to make financial decisions with the NIL money they have available. You can't always pay everybody what they want, and you make some tough calls somewhere.
Yeah, based on the people you've talked to, Cam Coleman's north of $2 million next year. Wouldn't you say that?
I don't always believe those numbers, but I know he's north of $1 million, and that's a lot for a wide receiver.
Okay, all right. I just wondered where you thought the window was.
I don't believe it's more than $2 million, but
okay,
maybe it is. Maybe it is.
All right.
I think a lot of these numbers get skewed in the favor of the agents. I don't believe that's real hard-earned money that goes that way, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm naive. Tell me about Dr. B as we roll back to Alabama and Indiana.
T3hair.net is the website to go to, T3hair.net. That is Dr. Michael Beckenstein, just one of the best dudes in the business, and it is hair restoration for you. And one thing he has done is he has stayed on the cutting edge of the hair restoration game. So as things have changed, as technology has grown, Dr. B has stayed up to times with the technology. So you're getting the latest, greatest technology with Dr. B when you go to T3hair.net. Dr. Michael Beckenstein, for years now, has been helping men and women naturally regrow their hair. And it's not some cookie cutter plan where you just go do the same thing as everyone. They do genetic testing to find out the plan that works best for you. They do follow-ups. They come in and they measure the growth to make sure it is continuing to work. It is just an entire process, and they're there every step of the way with you. Dr. Michael Beckenstein, T3hair.net, T3hair.net to get in touch with Dr. B and set up a consultation today.
And our friends at Company Distilling, CompanyDistilling.com for more details. It is whiskey as good as the company you keep. It's worth sharing. It's available in Alabama now, made in Tennessee by Jeff Arnett, the Master Distiller of the Year back in 2017. He's one of the best in the business. Their core spirits crafted using innovative aging processes that incorporate different wood species native here to the South, specifically Tennessee. And their 3 flagship whiskeys provide various degrees of complexity and are designed for the connoisseurs and the whiskey novice and everything in between. It's great whiskey. It's available now. Ask for it by name. It is Company Distilling. It is spirits worthy of sharing in the new year with our friends at Company Distilling. All right, Fernando Mendoza, no doubting he is good. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, cut number 8, Tyler. Kane Womack, the Alabama defensive coordinator. Is he motivated by trying to shut down the Heisman Trophy winner?
Are you guys using, I guess, his Heisman Trophy as kind of a rallying cry of wanting to, shut him down? Is that fuel for the guys to be like, we want to stop the Heisman Trophy winner? What does that look like?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I want to stop quarterbacks whether they've won the Heisman Trophy or not, but I certainly, if they've won the Heisman, it's a tremendous challenge for us. I mean, he is, he's operating at a really high level. He's executing at a really high level. And so when you watch the tape and the challenge, really the rally cry for our guys is you're going to have to operate at a really consistent level, and you're going to have to take away those windows that he's wanting to get the ball to. That means that, we it's not just the coverage, right? We have to be able to rush. We've got to be able to affect the quarterback some. And then ultimately, we've got to be able to finish on the ball against a receiving core that in my mind has competed for the football at the top of routes all season long, and they tend to step up in big moments. And so this will be a big moment for us. It'll be a great opportunity, one that, if there's anything that this team has been, it's battle tested. And so we're excited for just another challenge at hand.
There was a moment, Brown, that Ty Simpson, a brief moment, middle of the year, was the Heisman favorite. Fernando Mendoza ends up winning it. I think the assumption here is we're watching two future excuse me. Fought that sneeze off as long as I could. I apologize.
Bless you.
That
Bless
time
you
of
in
year.
advance, yes.
There is a theme out there, a belief out there that we're going to watch in the Rose Bowl two first-round draft quarterbacks here, two guys that are going to go eventually in the first round, and both of them are going to have to make a decision after the playoffs this year, whether they go to the draft or whether they come back another year to college. Both have another year of eligibility left. Do you believe this is a bowl game that features two first-round quarterbacks?
I do. I don't know if it's in the next draft. I know Mendoza is, right? I mean, he's going to be maybe the top quarterback selected in the draft. Whoever ends up with that number one pick by bad record or by trade and needs a quarterback, they're going to probably take Mendoza. That seems to be the conventional wisdom there. I don't know if Simpson's going to be in this draft or not. I mean, do you have a feel for that? Like, if you went the old seesaw game we've done in years past, if you went seesaw on him in the draft or him at Alabama, where would you put him in the draft being the first number?
I would go 50-50, Brownie. It's a toss-up. Yeah. Everybody I talk to, he's well thought of in NFL circles, and you hear people rave about his mind, his pre-reads, that if he had better protection and maybe a healthy, full receiving core, that he could do dynamic things. And then there's some things he does that need a lot more work, like any college quarterback. But to me, it's going to be a weak draft. Does he get a first-round grade? Could he be the first guy taken next year if he comes back? I think that's something they're going to it's a slam dunk for me in Mendoza. It would be Peyton Manning-esque. Yeah. He's won the Heisman. They're number one. He's won the Big Ten. Right. Probably going to be the first guy taken. There's no reason to come back unless you just want to be, a college quarterback again. Peyton Manning did it. He came back, and it worked out fine for him. Mendoza could do it, but he's guaranteed a first round. Ty Simpson, we'll wait and see.
So, but I would say the argument for Simpson coming back is Alabama's done a great job recruiting at receiver. You're already seeing some of those guys on scout team in the bowl prep, some of the early enrollees. Whether Ryan Williams is back or not, I don't know if that. I don't think it would factor into Simpson's decision. You've seen Lottie Brooks. You'll have him back. You've got a good young offensive line that is learning to play a little bit. I mean, I think there's reason for him to consider coming back. And again, I know, like you say, you never know about the dollar amounts that you hear, but Ty Simpson ain't hurting, right? I mean, is it $2 million? I don't know. Is it $1 million? I don't know. But I know this: for a college kid, he's making more money than just about anybody on that campus, if not everyone on that campus. So I would say there's a lot of reason to come back if you Ty Simpson. With that said, just as far as his NFL draft ability goes, I thought it was interesting. And the guys that are doing the draft do this. Did you notice last week, Monday, when we talked to Klatt after the Oklahoma game, one of the biggest things that changed his opinion on Simpson was just watching the TV film instead of the game film? Because on game film, you see the reads, you see the throws, you see the footwork, you see all those things. You see the missed assignments, you see the right assignments, but you don't see the sideline behavior. And just watching him up and down the sideline, I mean, that changed Klatt's opinion of him. He's like, that guy's a heck of a leader. He goes, I never see that part of it because I'm only watching the game tape, right? Not the TV copy. So I do think he brings some of those things that the NFL will love. I think Ty Simpson will be a good NFL quarterback. And you've seen him at Alabama throw without the help of a running game. And a lot of times, Jim, you'd have to say this, without the help of I think their offensive line is playing better right now, but there are times he hasn't had a lot of pass protection. So I think if you're an NFL team, you look at it and you're like, that guy was still productive and had no run support and didn't have a ton of protection at a lot of times and still was a productive quarterback for Alabama.
Shutting down the quarterbacks will be a key. The question that bugged me on Get Up today was, what does Ty Simpson need to show NFL teams? As a person who is a fan of the college football playoffs, I don't care. I want him to win the football game. That's all I care about. And Fernando Mendoza, if I'm an Indiana fan, I don't care he won the Heisman. I don't care if he's made the first NFL. I just want him to win the football game. There'll be time. We got until April to talk about what Ty Simpson did or did not show NFL people. That's my problem with national folks, that the NFL drives it, like with Greenberg on Get Up. I don't care about the NFL. I care about the playoffs in the college game. That's what I care about with Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I mean, I think they approach it from, well, everybody, cares about where this guy goes in the draft. Look, I think Alabama fans want Ty Simpson to go as high as he can. But if Simpson is 12 of 38 in this game, but he throws 3 touchdown passes, Alabama fans don't care that he was 12 of 38 and he made all the wrong reads. He threw 3 touchdown passes. That's probably going to be enough to win this game. I'm with you. Fans don't give a rip about that.
Yeah, Jay Barker had a great game in the 1993 Sugar Bowl, as far as I'm concerned, because they won the football game and he was the quarterback for get the 1 of 7 or whatever he was. Zabian Brown here on the challenge of facing Fernando Mendoza and what the Alabama secondary and their biggest playmaker has to do to impact this outcome against Mendoza.
What's the challenge of facing a quarterback that can do the things like he does?
Heisman winner, definitely the best quarterback we faced all year. Could put the ball anywhere on the field, and it just put stress on us. Just playing our game, getting pressure on them, playing complementary. With our front and the back end, and just trusting what we see in the film room.
That's Zabian Brown leading in to Media Day today at the Rose Bowl. More on that coming up next hour. Right now, before we do the viewing menu, Brownie, tell us about our friends at Johnston RV Center, johnstonrvcenter.com.
I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center, and you can always get them online as well, johnstonrvcenter.com. That is johnstonrvcenter.com. When you're there, not only can you see the prices, and there's a price range for everyone, starting as low as somewhere around the 120s, 130s a month with approved credit, 0 down. So you can find something in every price range there at Johnston RV Center. But also check out RV Warranty Forever. Make sure you got a lifetime warranty on anything that is new or qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV Center. That's a lifetime warranty from RV Warranty Forever. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
And our viewing menu brought to you by the great folks at Michelson Laser Vision, conveniently located at UAB Highlands on the campus of UAB downtown. Laser eye surgery that you can trust from our friends Mark and Jennifer Michelson. They've been doing it for years. They took care of LT over 2 decades ago. Still the best decision he has ever made. 30 years of innovation and the best eye care right here in the state of Alabama, and they do it bladeless, and they do it with the unbelievable precision that you come to expect with Michelson Laser Vision. You can go online to michelsonlaservision.com, or you can call them up, 205-969-8100, 205-969-8100. And listen, the pricing hasn't changed. I know everything else is through the roof with inflation. Michelson Laser Vision, still a great value for what you're getting there. The best in the business, and they've been that way, cutting edge for 3 decades. michelsonlaservision.com.
All right, so I saw Marty Supreme yesterday.
Oh, how was it?
A bit underwhelming. And that's not to say it's a bad movie. I thought it did a good job of delivering that uncut gems feeling of anxiety throughout the whole movie, and Chalamet is just fine in it, but it's not worth the whole just show and dance that Chalamet's been doing for the past year promoting this movie. And
So he's not going to win the Oscar, you don't think?
I think Michael B. Jordan is still the front runner for me for his role in Sinners earlier this year.
That was a great setup, Tyler. I saw it. How was it? Nugget.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3.5 out of 5 to
Okay.
4-star
right.
movie. You know, it's not bad, but it's uncut gems with 50s window dressing.
Yeah, it was overhyped.
Okay.
It was overhyped.
It was overhyped.
Okay.
There was no need to turn the Las Vegas Sphere into a ping pong ball and have Chalamet standing on top of it. There was no need in him filming a music video and all this other stuff for social media he's been doing. He just needs to be more like Keanu Reeves. Just don't be in the public eye. Just make good movies, and people will continue to flock to them.
Wow.
But moving on, Peacock has added an underrated movie to its catalog, and that is Public Enemies, directed by Michael Mann, starring Johnny Depp and Christian Bale. It centers around John Dillinger and the feds trying to take him down as he's pulling off a bunch of bank robberies during the Great Depression. And then finally, Prime has added Blade and Blade 2 to its catalog. And those movies are the peak of dumb fun. You got Wesley Snipes as a vampire with a samurai sword. It makes no sense, but, I mean, it is just peak fun.
Peak fun is always good. I mean, I like it when you smiled. I don't like it when you're disappointed in the viewing menu. That's what Tyler's watching, brought to you by our friends at Michelson. On the Bojangles scoreboard last night, Brownie, Auburn beat Queens 106-65. 15 three-pointers for Auburn. It was the 76th consecutive sellout, something that moved Stephen Pearl right there in a Christmas break in Auburn, Alabama, with a 9:15 tip, and it was a sellout. He was very thankful to the Auburn fans. And number 14, Alabama beat Yale 102-78. No Phylon in that one. Dealing with a thigh or groin injury. Alabama hit 22 threes to beat an 11-1 Yale team who you'll likely see in the NCAA tournament when we get that far. We're off to SEC play now. Auburn starts at Georgia. Alabama gets what Andy Katz calls the best game in the country this weekend, Kentucky-Alabama, 11 a.m. on Saturday over in Coleman Coliseum as we start SEC play this weekend. That's the Bojangles scoreboard, Brownie.
It is brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. You can always make it bow time at Bojangles, whether it is a college football watch party with these playoff games coming up or the pro games that are coming up, or whether it is just one of your New Year's Eve parties. Let Bojangles handle it for you. Those great chicken tenders, the Bo Bites dipped in that peach honey pepper sauce, the great sides, the biscuits, the tea, all right there at Bojangles. One stop for you with our friends at Bojangles. So whether it's breakfast on the way to work or school, whether it is lunch or dinner, you can always make it Bojangles, where it is always bow time.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
Oh, watch out, lady. What are you doing? Oh, wait. Come on, man. Shawty just destroyed my whip.
Say, little man, you need to call Alexander Sonara, man.
What the hell? Yeah, Alexander Sonara trial attorney. I heard they get you paid quick, fast, and in a hurry. With 500 attorneys. And staff holding it down for clients they've represented in 50 states. 659-777-7777. Or Sonara.com. Alexander Sonara trial attorney suing the insurance company, not the individual. Call me, Alabama.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by the professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete.
Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats are all in one place. NextRound.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know. You might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all your favorite Next Round gear by visiting NextRound.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at NextRound.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from NextRound.store. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Never miss anything from the Next Round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you catch every part of the Next Round. Listen anywhere in the world at any time on the Next Round podcast feed and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Thanks for always making the Next Round a big part of your day.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hour number 2 of the show. Coming up in the final hour, Connor O'Gara and Brooks Austin will join the show to talk about all the playoff games, including the one at the Rose Bowl where Brownie is out in California today. Brownie, today, Media Day. Tell everybody what's happening later on this morning.
So, in about, my time's thrown off. I think half an hour, Indiana will meet the media, the assembled media there, maybe an hour. They'll meet them. And then Alabama around 11:30-ish Central Time will meet with the media. And this is kind of like you see the Super Bowl media days, which, it's kind of a little more laid back and players kind of have the guard down. There's some fun things that happen. I don't know what to anticipate in this one, but we'll be there and we'll have some reaction from Alabama players, both on some fun topics and actual game topics against Indiana, which I'm sure they're tired of talking about, but we'll continue to ask them and the coaches as well. So you'll see a lot of stuff from that. Follow us at Next Round Live. At Next Round Live, I'm headed over there in about 45 minutes to the media hotel for that. So you can get all that coverage on our social media at Next Round Live, and then we'll have it on the show for you tomorrow as well.
All right, so that's what's happening a little bit later on today. Right now, let's do the Spotlight, brought to you by Alexander Shinara.
The College Football Spotlight.
Shinara.com, Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys. They are the place to go. They've recovered more than $2 billion for their clients. Shinara.com is the website to go to when you are in need of an attorney. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys, the place to go. Shinara.com, Shinara.com.
Okay, the first question in our Spotlight today is 2 teams eliminated from the playoffs already, Brownie. It's Texas A&M and Oklahoma. Marcel Reed and John Mateer. Are you okay with Marcel Reed and John Mateer being the quarterbacks of the future if you're Texas A&M or Oklahoma? They got you to the playoffs. Or was it Texas A&M's schedule, and did Mateer live up to the billing? Are you riding with Reed and Mateer again if you're those 2 playoff losers in the first round? Or are you still shopping for the next quarterback? How do you play it?
I am definitely shopping for a quarterback if I'm Oklahoma. I saw enough of Mateer Marcel Reed, he's hit or miss. The guy is sometimes good, sometimes bad. So, if I could get enough good Marcel Reed, I would take that. I didn't see enough good John Mateer. I think if I'm Oklahoma, I'm ready to move on. And unfortunately, I don't know what the Oklahoma fan approval would be for their offensive coordinator, and that was a package deal.
Yeah, I thought Arbuckle, especially as Alabama, that game went on, did very little to impress me. Now, there were some open receivers that either Mateer couldn't get him to or he didn't see them, and maybe some drops there. But I'm with you on Mateer. I'm not sure on Marcel Reed either. It's hard to move on, though, from playoff quarterbacks, though, right?
Yeah, if they're good enough to get you to the playoffs, a lot of times you want to keep them. But there again, it's like we talked about in the NFL, and this is so much easier to fix in college. But in the NFL, if you got a top 15 quarterback, you marry the guy. I guess that would be the equivalent of making a college football playoff with a quarterback in college football. But do you have one elite enough to win when you get there? Texas A&M didn't. Marcel Reed was not good against Miami. John Mateer didn't. He was not good enough against Alabama. So, in the playoff era, you got to make tough choices like that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what those two playoff first-round losers end up doing at quarterback. The betting favorites is you keep both and you ride and see what the future looks like there. Playoff games continue this weekend. Today, though, 3 more bowl games, including a SEC team. First game is the Independence Bowl, Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Tech, 1 o'clock on ESPN. Music City Bowl in the middle of the day, 4:30 up in Nashville. That's the SEC team. Tennessee taking on Illinois. And then the Alamo Bowl tonight, 8 o'clock ESPN in San Antonio, USC and TCU. Lincoln Riley had the opportunity yesterday. Cut 16, Tyler. Lincoln Riley had the opportunity yesterday at the Alamo Bowl to finally do an interview about the Notre Dame series being put on pause. And he put all the blame back on Notre Dame. I'd been under the perception it was USC that wanted out of this game because of the 9-game Big Ten schedule. What was the benefit of them playing Notre Dame, one of those great historic rivals? Notre Dame sort of made it sound like it was USC that was wanting out of this game, that it was Lincoln Riley who wanted out of this game. Lincoln Riley told a different story yesterday.
It's pretty simple. We've both worked for months to try to find a solution. Notre Dame was very vocal about the fact that they would play us anytime, anywhere. And obviously them not having a conference affiliation gives them an ability to be pretty flexible with their scheduling. We went back, Jen Cohen, our AD, went back to Notre Dame roughly a couple of weeks ago with a scenario and a proposal that would extend the series for the next 2 years. And we took Notre Dame at their word that they would play us anytime, anywhere. That proposal was rejected. Not only was it rejected, 5 minutes after we got the call, it was announced that they had scheduled another opponent, which I'll give them credit. That might be the fastest scheduling act in college football history. So I know there's been a lot of back and forth on it. I know college football has changed a lot. But the fact is very, very clear, and this can all be settled very quickly. Had Notre Dame lived up to their word and played us anytime, anywhere, we would be playing them the next 2 years and looking ahead after that and hopefully continuing the series. They did not follow through on it. Thus, we are not playing them the next couple of years. We're hopeful something can be worked out in the future. That'd be fantastic. We at SC would love for the game to continue, and we have no problem following through on our promises in the future.
That's Lincoln Riley yesterday saying it was Notre Dame who said, man, you guys were anytime, anywhere. They wanted to, USC wanted to move the game to week 0 to start the season. They don't want it to be played in the middle of their Big Ten season or at the end of the Big Ten race before hopefully they go to the Big Ten championship game or the playoffs. They want to move it to start the season. Is that unreasonable for USC to want to move this to week 0 or week 1? And why would Notre Dame not want to do that?
I don't think it's unreasonable for USC because it is a different situation for them now with the Big Ten schedule. And for the most part, once you get into the Big Ten schedule, it is only Big Ten games after that. So I don't think that's an unreasonable request for USC. I also understand Notre Dame, like, we can't just commit our first game to USC every year right now. We've got this ACC agreement. We've done, deals with other teams. We can't just blow that up for one game. So I see both sides of that discussion, if in fact that was where, the discussion was. I do think it is funny what Lincoln Riley said, because BYU is that series they announced, and he is right. The minute the news broke that USC and Notre Dame was not happening in the future, news broke that USC and BYU were about to play. So they knew this wasn't going to happen for quite some time, and it appeared they were out shopping for a reasonable replacement, which I don't know that BYU is a reasonable replacement over USC. That's not going to have the same pop. But they were kind of limited, so it looked like they were out shopping for a reasonable replacement. And when they found it, that's when they cut ties with USC and moved on. And maybe we'll see it again in the future. I don't know. I think 2030 was the earliest date we could see it again, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 4 years on pause here. And Lincoln Riley said we could have moved this to week 0 and could have been working the next 2 years on a future agreement. Right now it's on pause. And another part of our college football past has gone away. Back to Indiana, Alabama, and the college football playoffs right after. Brownie tells us about the great folks at Central State Bank, a company that's been with so many local families here for many, many years.
Yeah, Central State Bank is a bank that is big enough to meet all of your needs, but they're also small enough to know you. This is a bank that builds personal relationships, and it is one-on-one banking with Central State Bank. They don't just open accounts, they open relationships, and that is very, very important if you've never dealt with a community bank. They've been doing this for more than 100 years. They are community-focused, they are built on trust, and they have served Shelby County and Tallapoosa County and all of Central Alabama with local decisions and personal service that feels like home. So whether you are starting a business, buying a car, or planning for tomorrow, Central State Bank is here to help you every step of the way. Rooted in community, driven by relationships, Central State Bank, member FDIC.
And our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa, located just up the street here at the Summit. You get all the complete Woodhouse Day Spa services and treatments there. You can find the location near you. For us, it's right near the station here at the Summit. WoodhouseSpas.com, WoodhouseSpas.com. All the spa packages they have, including the massage, the facials there. You can even get a variety of different body treatments, nail service, waxing services, something that the wife or that special someone in your life will enjoy in the new year. Nothing like it, and great services available for you to relax, restore, and revive with our complete Woodhouse Spa services and treatment right there at WoodhouseSpas.com, WoodhouseSpas.com. All right, Indiana, Alabama. One of the big storylines last year, Brownie, all the bye teams lost. Here comes Indiana off of the bye. They had the longer layoff. Here is Indiana wide receiver Elijah Surratt on the mindset of Indiana being number 1 in the favorite against mighty Alabama.
How do you bring what you think is the right mindset to a game of this magnitude? You know it's important, and you try to make it just like every other day anyway. I mean, what's the balance like?
Yeah, like you just said, just trying to keep things the same, trying to treat this game just like any other game. You don't want to get too overhyped for this game. You don't want to get too underhyped. So it's just about going in every single day leading up to that game, doing what we've done for the whole year leading up to this, just stacking those days and being able to, once those bullets are flying, being able to execute, not turn the ball over, and keeping things the same. We understand it's a big game, but it's just the next game for us.
Mindset for Indiana, Brownie. How key is it for the Hoosiers here? After beating Ohio State, defending national champs, not to have a little air of overconfidence?
I mean, I think that is huge, obviously. It is so weird that you're asking about a Indiana team having overconfidence. If anything, they should feel like, we're the upstart. We're still the underdog. I mean, I think even though they're the point spread favorite, there are a lot of people that just can't get past Brands. And Indiana and Alabama, their brands aren't even close. I mean, Brooks sent out the history of the two programs, but brands don't win football games always. Sometimes brands can beat you. If you buy too much into the brand you're playing against, that can beat you. And I think that's key for Indiana, is ignoring the fact that it's that white uniform and that crimson helmet of Alabama. And if you are the better team, and a lot of people think Indiana is the better team, certainly the odds makers in Vegas think Indiana is the better team. Ignore the fact that that's Alabama on the other sideline and play Indiana football. I don't think there's any reason for them to be overconfident. But on the flip side, I don't think there's any reason for them to hold Alabama in some sort of esteem and awe because of what they've done over the last 20 years. That can get you beat just as easy as being overconfident.
No doubt about that. When we talked earlier about this matchup and the impact that maybe the weather will have on this, I don't know who said it, but I saw a debate on if it rains, if it's not perfect Rose Bowl weather, does that benefit a team or not? Do you buy into weather benefiting at one team over the other? I mean, it's the same weather. Indiana plays in the Big Ten. I would imagine they played in some crappy weather games. I know Alabama's had some rain games this year. It doesn't seem like it would impact one team or the other, in my opinion, or benefit one team or the other, I should say.
Yeah, well, first of all, it is going to be warmer. You were in Norman, Oklahoma. I'll be in Pasadena Thursday. It's going to be warmer in Pasadena than it was in Norman, right?
Right. A little bit. I mean, it was the wind that made it so bad in Norman.
What would concern me if I'm an Alabama fan about the weather, and I don't know that the weather is going to rise to what we saw in Buffalo Sunday, but you brought it up yesterday. The Eagles have now had two games where Jalen Hurts didn't complete a pass in the second half. And by the way, they're 2-0 in those games, remarkably. Those were conditions that were impossible to throw in those conditions. So it was the team that just ran the ball better, right? And that concerns me if I'm an Alabama fan. If it comes to a game where throwing is out the window because wet ball, whatever, and I got to depend on my run game, that's a problem for Alabama because Indiana's good up front. They're good defensively. They don't run. They don't allow teams to run on them very much, and Alabama doesn't run the ball well. So to me, if weather forces you to depend more on the run game and play defense, Alabama's got the defense for that. They don't have the run game for it. So that's where weather would be a concern for me if I'm an Alabama fan. If I'm an Indiana fan, it doesn't concern me as much. Both teams playing in the same weather. I can run it a little bit. I can run it enough to win this game. I'm, playing Big Ten weather more than this Alabama team does. It's going to be more Big Ten weather than SEC weather. So I think weather-wise, a sloppy track would probably benefit Indiana more so than Alabama.
Here is, and you were around the team last night. I want you to listen to Jeremy Bernard and Tim Keenan talking about the how they're fueled by the doubters and sort of give me the feel of the team as they were checking into the hotel last night. Here's Bernard and Keenan on Alabama being the underdogs and a lot of people not thinking Alabama can handle the Big Ten champions.
Ty thanked us after the game, the media, for kind of doubting and giving them an opportunity to prove us wrong. Is that something this team relishes, is the opportunity to prove people wrong, especially now as you face the number one team in the country?
Not necessarily. We're always just, focused on us and, playing our best game. But obviously it adds an extra fuel to our fire, knowing that everybody is down us and nobody wants to see Bama win. So we put that on our shoulder and we just, work harder.
It's nothing new. Adversity is very familiar with us. As far as not having anyone root for us, as long as we all we got and we all we need, as long as we got God on our side and the ones who really rock with us, then we'll be just fine.
That's Jeremy Bernard, the receiver, who is hopefully a little more healthy, and then Big Tim Keenan, who we last saw Brownie in the tent at the end of that Oklahoma game. Any word? And as you watched Keenan get off the bus last night, how did he look?
I was at a distance from him, but he didn't look bad. And again, Holly Rowe reported at the end of that game that the Red Morgan and Tim Keenan injuries were very minor and there were no issues. So what I saw of him looked fine, but again, they're in, street clothes, walking from a bus into a hotel. So it's not exactly like he's exploding off the line of scrimmage, taking on two blockers. That is a concern, obviously. I mean, when both those guys went out at the end of the game, because Red Morgan has been playing really well. He played well in that game. And Keenan has been fantastic all year. Obviously, you're a bit concerned about that. From what I can tell, both are fine and both will be ready to go. I think the availability report reflects that as well. So I don't think there are huge concerns about that. I do think it's funny, back to what Jerem said. This team, and it is such a departure from the norm for Alabama, the evil empire for 20 years, the team that in a lot of ways ran college football, won so many championships, they were feared, and now they have flipped this around to it's an us against the world mentality. People doubt us. Nobody thinks we can win this thing. Let's go make it us against this world, against the world. And this is just, it's so weird to see this era of Alabama football talking that way, because they haven't talked that way for a very, very long time. They haven't had to, because it's never been them against the world. The world was always on Alabama in these games. Everybody they were playing was David to Goliath.
I would agree with that. More from California, where Brownie is, in a second, and more college football in our next segment, as we'll be joined from Media Day by Rosie Langello of WSFA coming up at 10:50, Connor O'Gara at 11, Indiana grad, Saturday Down South, and Brooks Austin, the film guy who's down in New Orleans for Georgia and Ole Miss. But one more thing on the NFL here, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. And Brownie, you know Hemp Hill Services very well. You used them before as well when it comes to heating and cooling.
Yeah, if it doesn't run right, drain right, or flow right, Hemp Hill Services is the way to go. And listen, we talk about this all the time, Alabama weather. One day in Alabama, it's 70 degrees and you're out playing golf. Another day in Alabama, it's 30 degrees. And that just puts a lot of stress on your HVAC. So you want to make sure it's ready to go, especially when you got to move back to that heat. And Hemp Hill Services can handle that for you. They've been doing it in Birmingham for a very long time. We tell you, go to Hemp Hill Services. Hemp Hill Services, 229-2090, 229-2090. That is absolutely your first call for Hemp Hill Services. They also bring you Lance's Lock all the time. If it's not running right, flowing right, or draining right, Hemp Hill Services, 229-2090, 229-2090.
First of all, the facts of the matter, the Falcons beat the Rams last night. Forrester predicted that yesterday in our chat room. I don't know if he was doing that just because it impacted in a bad way my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Forrester, as you watched the game last night, you kept thinking about our traveling buddy Lance Taylor as you watched the game last night.
There were a few moments in that game where I would have loved to have seen Lance's live reaction as Bijan's breaking through the line, at his own 7-yard line, taking it 93 to the house. Stafford's pick six, his almost second pick six, and then the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, and for my Buccaneers, that means they don't control their own destiny. Carolina and Tampa Bay, winner on Saturday, could win the division, but now the Falcons have to lose to the Saints and the Bucs win for me to get in. Carolina can lose the game, and if the Falcons beat the Saints, Carolina still goes to the playoffs. The Falcons, of course, have been eliminated. The bigger question, Brownie, you first, Matt Stafford, did he cost himself the MVP last night as he threw his 32nd pick six, tying Brett Favre as an NFL record? And Stafford does it in 238 games. It took 298 games for Favre to throw 32 pick sixes, which is the NFL record. Now Stafford is tied with Brett Favre there in a 3-interception game. Did Matt Stafford give Drake May the MVP last night?
You're not the only one saying that. So last night, as you mentioned, Jim, I was over at the Alabama team hotel as they arrived, and driving back, the game had ended. I watched the end of the game there at the Alabama team hotel. And driving back, I turned on the LA station here that carries the Rams and listened to their post-game show. And they were saying that. They were like, I think Matt Stafford cost himself the MVP. Drake May's going to win the MVP. These are Rams guys saying it. And they even had an even crazier discussion, if you want me to bring that up. But they were saying it, that Stafford cost himself the MVP and it's going to go to Drake May. And I look, both still have to play a game next week, and those games have varying meaning for the two teams. But I do wonder last night. It was a national stage. Everybody watching Monday Night Football, anybody that's a voter, you didn't have any other NFL game you were paying attention to, and that was a bad stage for Matt Stafford. And I'm with Scott. Watching Lance's reaction to that Bijan Robinson touchdown run would have been something.
It would have been amazing.
Yeah, he was at the game.
And his reaction to the Jared Verse field goal return for a touchdown. I mean, high and low, either one of those I would love to have
You
seen.
might have liked to have seen mine on that one.
229 total yards for Bijan last night as the Falcons beat the Rams. And that's a big story in the NFL. One more week to go before we get to the NFL playoffs. Lamar Jackson's back issue will be a game-time decision. Ravens and Steelers. Winner goes to the playoff, losers out. That's a big game for them. Riley Leonard is going to start for the Colts. That means Phillip Rivers' return as a starter is over with. 0-3 in the return. He says he has no regrets. He gets another 5-year run on insurance, I think, by returning. So that's good for him and his 10 kids, and he's also on a 5-year delay for the Hall of Fame, but he came back and had a 3-game run with the Colts with varying degrees of success. And before we take Brown's final break of the day and the halfway point of our show here, happy birthday Tiger Woods, who is 50 years old today, eligible now for the Champions Tour. Do we ever see him play in the Champions Tour, Brownie? Do we ever see him here locally?
Well, and it's interesting you bring that up because I think you'll see him play the majors, and some people may not realize that, but the Regents Tradition is a major on the Champions Tour. Now, I think you'll see him start with like the U.S. Senior Open and the Senior British, maybe just places, that translate from the regular tour to the Champions Tour. But it wouldn't blow me away that one day you see him come to Birmingham. Jim, we all remember this. Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus came right now. That was early in the stages of the Champions Tour when they were trying to make sure that tour got launched and got the attention for the players that were below them. But Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer both played in this before it was even a major. So it wouldn't surprise me one day if you saw Tiger playing this. He's oddly, I never thought the guy would consider the Champions Tour, but he has been asked about it multiple times and has never ruled it out. He's talked about wanting to continue to compete at any level he can compete at. He can't really compete at the regular tour level anymore, but you get him out there with golf carts, so it's a little bit easier on his broken down body. You never know. The guy might play more than you think on the Champions Tour.
He seems to be, and ESPN seems to be pouring a lot into their I forget the name of it, their professional golf league, the indoor facility down there that they have launched. Year 2 of that's coming up. He seems to be bought in, part owner, loves that. So happy birthday, Tiger Woods, the arguably the best to ever do it, he and Jack Nicklaus. And with all due respect with anybody who's playing today. I mean, I know we're trying to put Scheffler in that category, but if you look at the stats and what they were able to do on the tour, Tiger and Jack, big separation before you get to the run Scheffler is on, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a stat. I don't know if it translates, though, but it's an amazing stat if you want me to give it in regards to Tiger and what you've seen of Scotty Scheffler. It's a complicated stat, so let me quickly explain the stat. Strokes gained is a stat the PGA Tour used. So in other words, what would be your expected stroke number for a given shot? Who performs higher or lower, higher or better, right? So Scotty Scheffler, of course, leads strokes gained from tee to green. There's another guy that leads the strokes gained around the green, putting and chipping, right? If you add their two numbers together, you get Tiger's total number in I believe it's 2019, 2020, sometime in there. I mean, so in other words, he was playing the entire game better than the Scotty Scheffler plus the best guy that's chipping and putting together, if that makes sense. I don't know if that stat made any sense, but trust me, that's a remarkable stat.
Yeah. Tiger, the best we've seen since Jack Nicklaus, and that debate will go on and on forever and ever on Jack and Tiger. Most people say Jack because of runner-ups and all of that, but two of the greats. Happy birthday, Tiger, at the age of 50. Back to football in the next segment. The show being brought to you by the wonderful folks at Bojangles. Brownie, Bojangles, great any time of day.
No doubt about it. You can do breakfast, lunch, or dinner at Bojangles. You can also let them handle your parties to watch the college football playoff or the NFL playoffs, or whatever the case might be. Bojangles has it covered for you. You can always make it bow time. Those great hand-breaded chicken tenders, the bow bites, which are those smaller size that you dip in that peach honey pepper sauce. They are fantastic as well. And they've got all the great sides, the biscuits, everything you need to make a great watch party. They got it, right there at Bojangles. It is always bow time at Bojangles. Breakfast on your way to work tomorrow, lunch or dinner tonight. Make it bow time.
And our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA, staying on top of your health. Guys, for over 70 years, they've got 16 wonderful locations for you. 205-930-0920 to make an appointment anytime, and you can get more details at urologycentersalabama.com. Prostate health to kidney stones, early detection literally saves your life, and they've been doing that, as I said, with great compassion for 70 years. The best in the business, because LT and I use them. You should take a look as well. From 20s to 30s, 30s to 40s, they'll help you guys. 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com.
Oh, watch out, lady. What are you doing? Oh, come on, man. Shouting just destroyed my whip.
Say, little man, you need to call Alexander Sonara, man.
What the hell? Yeah, Alexander Sonara trial attorney. I heard they get you paid quick, fast, and in a hurry. With 500 attorneys. And staff holding it down for clients they've represented in 50 states. 659-777-7777. Or Sonara.com. Alexander Sonara trial attorney suing the insurance company, not the individual. Call me, Alabama. Legal services provided are billed at any other provider.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
There's Brownie talking to somebody out on the patio. How you doing, Brownie? Who's that walked by? Surprise you?
You want me to get that was the pool cleaners. You want to get a Rose Bowl pick from them?
No. Is that a lemon tree or is those flowers to your right there, just over?
I don't know what this. I don't know what this is.
Is it a flower or is it a actual? It looks like a lemon from the vision we have back here in Birmingham.
It is not a lemon. Do you want me to pick one?
No, not at all. Not at all. That is the best looking shot you've ever had, though, on location. Beautiful looking shot there. Brownie's out there on the West Coast getting ready for this unbelievable Rose Bowl showdown coming up on Thursday. He's heading to Media Day in a moment. We're going to talk more on Indiana and them in a second. But first, our friends at Crane U want to remind you that if you're thinking about changing careers and becoming a crane operator, and you always wonder, God, how can I do that? Where do you go for that? How about Crane U? Go online to craneu.com. It's easy, CRANE and the letter U.com, craneu.com, or you can call 855-9-CRANE-U. That's 855-927-2638. And they are very affordable, and they will train you to work in the crane business. And it's so easy, even Lance can do it. You can see it in the video there. And they work there on their site in Leeds, or they'll come to you and train you on your equipment. They also do inspections and a lot of other services. They are the best in the business. So get the complete Crane U experience right now by going online to craneu.com, craneu.com, or calling the number 855-9-CRANE U. What are you laughing at?
The people in the chat room are like, Brown's in front of a green screen. None of that is real. Somebody said it looked like a Teams background if you're on a Microsoft Teams call.
Yeah, it does look a little fake there with the fire going behind you there.
You want me to go stick my hand in the fire just to prove that it's real?
I do not.
You do not want me to pick a tree. You want me to stick my hand in the fire?
I definitely don't want you to damage the property there. I don't want it to add expenses on the trip there that you picked a lemon or something. That only adds cost to the company.
Definitely not a lemon. I don't know what it is. Somebody said a persimmon. That's big for a persimmon, but I don't know. Yeah. I'm a redneck from Calhoun County. What do I know?
They grow them big out there. All right, okay. So SEC Bowl action continues today with Tennessee, but we're all focused on the playoffs as we get back to that. Tyler, if you can get me cut number 5, I want to ask you, Brownie, about Ty Simpson and your thoughts on where he is mentally right now. Cut number 5, Ty Simpson gets asked about his let-it-rip mentality and how he has been able to sort of flush bad moments in games and still bring Alabama, like he did at Oklahoma, back to victory.
Coach Grove mentioned that he saw you have the kind of let-it-rip mentality, and that led to a lot of success in the Oklahoma game. How do you continue that and make sure that you bring that to the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, I think one, it starts with just kind of the not caring mentality. I talked about after the game about how everybody just kind of wrote us off, me included, and it made me feel some type of way. And so thank you guys, thank the media. It's kind of the same mentality going in, right? Like nobody expected us to make it to the Rose Bowl. Nobody expected us to make it to the playoffs. So it's kind of the same thing, right? Like just forget the world. It's all about Alabama, and so that's the mindset going in, and it's going to be the mindset forevermore.
Where are you on Ty Simpson, Brownie? The way he's playing right now, going into this game.
Well, I mean, I listen. I think that's the thing that encourages Alabama fans about this game against Indiana is Alabama went on the road against one of the best defenses in America, and for the last 3 quarters in that game, you saw the Ty Simpson that you saw. I don't know, Jim, where you put the line where it kind of changed for Ty Simpson. Maybe after that first Oklahoma game, where it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same in the Iron Bowl. It wasn't the same in the SEC championship game. But you saw glimpses of the first half Georgia Ty Simpson. You saw glimpses of the second half South Carolina Ty Simpson in that 3/4 of the Oklahoma game. Now, what do you notice about what I just said there? That I picked out first half Georgia. I picked out second half South Carolina. Really fourth quarter South Carolina, if you want to be honest about it. Last 3/4 Oklahoma. The struggle for Ty Simpson of late has been playing a full game that way. And it's not all Ty's fault. I'm not putting that on Ty Simpson. He's the quarterback, so he's going to take a lot of the blame. But, you got to block for him. He doesn't have the support of a run game. He's got, some receiver drop issues. So it's not all on Ty Simpson. But when is the last time you've gotten 4 full quarters out of Ty Simpson the way Ty Simpson can play? And I think if Alabama fans think if you could get that by chance Thursday in the Rose Bowl, Alabama's all of a sudden playing the Oregon-Texas Tech winner in Atlanta for a chance to go play for the national championship.
I don't know about you, but when it was all said and done, I was impressed with, and Ty's a big part of this, setting up protection. But Oklahoma's pass rush up the middle and on the edge is elite.
Yep.
So's Indiana. But Oklahoma was too. And once they got it going a little bit, I thought they protected Ty Simpson good enough for him to have success. And hats off to Alabama's offensive line for doing just enough there to give Ty Simpson and Bama a fighting chance.
So you were sitting in the press box there. How often did they say R. Mason Thomas's name on the press box announcement?
Yeah, not enough. Not enough for Oklahoma to still be playing.
Not enough for Oklahoma. That's right. Not enough for Oklahoma. And if you could control that guy, you can control anybody. That's as good a pass rusher as there is in the game. So I do think, I was talking about that earlier. I think Alabama's protection has gotten better. The run game is what it is. Look, I mean, that's the thing. You're not going to fix that overnight. The run game is what it is, but Alabama has got to get better pass protection, and they have done that.
Yeah. Tucker and Kamara, the names to remember, just like Oklahoma to me. Pass rush right up the middle on Parker's Brailsford is what will disrupt Ty the most, and they've got a couple of beasts right up the middle in this game. Brownie's leaving now, on his way over to Media Day from the Verbo they're in down to the Media Hotel where Indiana is currently doing interviews, and we'll hear from Rosie Langello of WSFA, who's doing interviews with Indiana right now before Alabama takes the floor there. Brownie, safe travels in L.A., and we will talk to you tomorrow morning on the show and on social media throughout the day at Next Round Live, okay?
That's right. Check it out. Next Round Live. Everything we do will be right there and on the show tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, Jim. Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Enjoyed it too, man. Almost like you get paid for it. It's fantastic. All right. Our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing does the transition on your roof when it goes from an old roof to a new roof, and we transition away from Brown here as well to talk some more college football. Greg from Pell City and his wife Andrea want to say Happy New Year to you. They are hoping you had a great Merry Christmas and a happy holiday over the past few days, but it's time to look ahead to 2026, and that means it's time to look ahead absolutely to a brand new roof, or at least better roof care. When's the last time you had that roof inspected? Well, they can do it for you right now. 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, stormrestorationroofing.com, the website. He's got this new procedure now that he's doing called a soft wash, where he and his guys get on the roof and actually wash your roof. It takes away the staining problems, right? It allows them to make your roof look newer. And the ingredients in the soft wash actually ends up making your roof a little stronger. It looks better and maybe lasts a few more years longer. So start with a roof inspection to find out if you got any problems up there, any leakage, water damage. And then if you need it, they'll do the soft wash as well. It's all right there with our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, stormrestorationroofing.com. All right, she's up, so let's just go have some fun with Rosie Langello, WSFA Sports Director. She is in Los Angeles, Media Hotel Media Day. You've been talking, get a nice drink of the H2O. Travel day yesterday, like a lot of the media, to get to L.A., Rosie?
Yeah. Where was I? I was flying from Tampa, Florida, and I flew into Phoenix, and then I flew here. All the flights were good. Everything was great. Got here, got my credential, found some food, and then we went to arrivals last night. So we saw Alabama arrive at the Marriott downtown, and we spoke with Josh Cuevas and Jamani Jackson. So it's been a whirlwind. I was awake at 5 o'clock today and I just couldn't fall back to sleep. I think the whole time change is really getting me, but that's okay. I went down to Starbucks and there was nobody outside. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning and the streets of LA were quiet. It was so bizarre, but here we are. We're ready to go.
All right. So it's media day. Indiana's doing theirs right now. In this type of setting, when you're going to talk and you cover Alabama specifically, that's your job when you're there, and you go talk to the Indiana guys, they're number one. They're a touchdown favorite over mighty Alabama. How much of a storyline is that on media day for Indiana, that they're the favorites, they're number one in the country?
Yeah, it's a huge thing. I mean, but I will say we spoke with 3 players just now, and we caught the tail end of Fernando Mendoza's media avail, and they all were giving a lot of respect to Alabama and saying how great of a team they were. There's a wide receiver from Central Phoenix City that we just spoke to, EJ Williams, and I was asking him, I was like, what did you see with Alabama's defense in that Oklahoma game with how they were able to adjust? And he didn't want to elaborate. He was like, I don't want to see too much. I don't want to say too much. He wouldn't give us too much, but he says that, they disguise their pressures a lot and you never know what you're going to get with them. But I think that's a really big talking point today as well, as Alabama's defense and how Indiana, can play against them as well. But it is a big storyline. The whole thing, I mean, there are so many storylines too, with just Alabama playing. It's been 100 years since they, that first game with the Rose Bowl, which is crazy too. But I did hear rumblings of that. We caught the tail end of the media, and I heard people asking Indiana about that. So good amount of media here for Indiana as well.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that because the media has no impact on the game. We all know that. Has very little impact on anything. But there is this, when you cover a team, when you get into a setting like this, especially on media day leading up, there is almost a territorial thing that takes over for the media folks. And Alabama media, we've been blessed since 2008. We've gone to big games every year, it seems like, either with Alabama and sometimes with Auburn. And Indiana, this is sort of new. And I know Chris Hagan, my buddy from Indianapolis, and a couple of guys that work there.
Yeah.
How do they feel about this? Do you get a sense of their excitement to be at the Rose Bowl, something that their folks talk about all the time?
Yeah, I mean, the granddaddy of them all. I haven't spoken to many media members here yet. I did see a couple of TV people that were here, and they were all crowding around Fernando Mendoza as well, trying to get, the best sound bites as possible. But it's kind of a surreal thing. And like you said, we've been blessed to cover Alabama. I've been covering them since 2022, and this is my 3rd trip out to LA to cover an Alabama team. So I was here for the Rose Bowl in 2023 into 2024, and then came back in 2024 to cover Alabama basketball. And then we're back again at the end of 2025, which is crazy to think about since I've only been here for 4 seasons of football. So been a whirlwind, really special. You got to soak in the moment. And the players said that as well. They were just like, it's the Rose Bowl. Like, this is the quarterfinal playoff. And we have to soak in this moment. And because it's just a surreal one.
Yeah. And when you get to that stadium, it's amazing. And some of these players played in this stadium. They played in Nick Saban's last game, including Jam Miller. You're about to talk, and for those that don't know, in a few moments, Alabama will take over media day, and Rosie and her WSFA crew will jump and start interviewing the Alabama folks. So if you're watching in the Montgomery, Auburn, Selma, Troy area, tune on to WSFA later today for their coverage. What's the story when you talk to Jam Miller today? Will you talk about the Michigan game, the last time he was in the Rose Bowl? I wonder what he'll say about that.
Yeah, I think that's probably my number one question to him and some of our local guys as well. Coy Rusall and James Smith are 2 guys that are out of Montgomery, out of Carver. And that's also something I want to talk to them about as well, is because I haven't spoken to them one-on-one since really Nick Saban retired. And I know Davis has a couple of times, but since Nick Saban retired and Kalen DeBoer took over. So for all of those guys to stay here and then get back to the Rose Bowl, I think it's going to be really interesting to just hear their feelings about it. And really, what is different? Obviously, you have new coordinators, a new head coach, you have new teammates and things like that. But was that game a motivator for the guys that stayed around? I'm sure it is, but it'll be interesting to hear what they have to say, or if they're just like, no, we're not thinking of that. We've moved on from that type of thing. And especially for Jam Miller too, with the season that he did have, the season that, he probably didn't expect to have. I think this is a huge game for him, and to prove to people he can still run the ball well, he can still block well, all this stuff. But yeah, that's a big talking point with the guys that stuck around.
Okay, before you get out of here, I got to ask you, was there a media gift this year? I know sometimes. So here's what I've gotten. I've had 2 sets of luggage, a pullover, and this cool leather notebook in my 4 Rose Bowls that I've covered. I mean, the 2 pieces of luggage I still occasionally use on trips. One's a overhead bag. Yeah, one's a rolling overhead bag with the Rose Bowl logo on it from 2009, and I still use it. It's well made. And one of them's a hanging bag with the Rose Bowl logo on it. And then I've got a pullover and then a notebook. Was there a gift last night?
Yes. So it was socks, but I think I'm going to give those to my husband because they look like dress socks for men. And then there's actually a really nice hat, a Rose Bowl hat. It's beige, looks really great. I'll wear it in my Jeep to keep my hair in. And then I believe there's a laundry bag that has Rose Bowl stuff on it. I didn't open up the entire thing fully, but I have a friend that works for the Rose Bowl committee, and I actually got a little inside secret from him on what the gift was, because I wanted to ask. I was like, ooh, what's the gift? What's the gift? And then there's a sunglass case, I think, that says Rose Bowl on it as well. No sunglasses, but a sunglass case. And I think I'm forgetting one other thing. When we got here in 2023, it was a pullover, like a Nike pullover, super nice.
Yep.
I still wear that all the time. It's really nice too. But you got luggage? What year was that?
That was 09, and then again with Auburn in 2013. And apparently in between there was another. It was almost a 3-piece set that I could have had if they could have made it to the Rose Bowl between. But there was the overhead and then the hanging bag of the Auburn year. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, obviously the gift is great. It's very nice, but the food here is so good. Obviously, being in LA, there's much different types of food than Alabama, which I love. But then the food that they serve here for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, oh, it's great. Like, we don't even need to spend any money outside. So they treat us so well here. That's why I was excited to come back, because I was like, you're comfortable. You can do your job well. They make things accessible. So it's great. It helps us out a lot.
The Media Hotel, man, that media hospitality room, you can play poker, open bar, free food. It's you don't have to spend
massage chairs.
Yeah, exactly. Massage chairs. It's unbelievable there. You don't have to spend a dime if you just pocket the company's money. Just come up with some blank receipts and pocket the company's money, Rosie.
My GM would love that. So.
That's Rosie Langello, sports director, WSFA, just finishing with Indiana, getting ready to do Alabama's Media Day at the Rose Bowl. We appreciate your friendship, man. Safe travels. Enjoy the trip. And say hi to my guys when you bump into them. Brownie's on his way over there right now.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
See you, Rosie Langello there on the Shannara Hotline. Connor O'Gara coming up at the top of the hour. The show being brought to you by our friends at Company Distilling. The great taste of Tennessee, now available in Alabama with our friends at Company Distilling. Man, this is available now in Alabama. Spirits worthy of sharing is their catch line. And what do I mean by that? We all enjoy a nice social cocktail every now and then. Why not get the best when it comes to Tennessee whiskey from the master distiller himself, Jeff Arnett? He has come up with this wonderful taste with our friends at Company Distilling, and it's now available in more and more states every day, but available at your local ABC store or your local place where you get your bourbons and whiskey. Just ask for it by name, Company Distilling. It is designed with wood specific from Tennessee. That's part of the process that Jeff Arnett uses there. And I've sampled it. I've used it. I've enjoyed it. It's a bottle that's on my shelf right now. It's delicious. Try it out. Our friends at Company Distilling. We talk Bama, Indiana, and the other playoff games with Saturday Down South's Connor O'Gara next on the show.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
We interrupt this program for breaking news from the Gators of the litigation situation. Insurance companies have a playbook. I repeat, insurance companies have a playbook. Deny, delay, defend. They know which law firms will fold and settle cheap. They are not on your side. That's corporate greed at work. At Alexander Sonara Trial Attorneys, we fight back. We have the resources, the muscle, and the will to take them on. And you don't pay a dime unless we win. They fight dirty. We fight hard. Call 659-777-7777 or hit up alexwins.law.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
There's only one Champy's world famous fried chicken. Poor boy's tenders, full fried chicken plates, and a little bit of the Mississippi Delta with chicken on a stick and hot tamales. On your way to or from the big game on Highway 119 in Alabaster, stop by Champy's Chicken.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Catch up on all today's Next Round on demand through the podcast platform of your choice, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcast, wherever you listen. Always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you never miss any part of the Next Round. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
And as always, this hour brought to you by our wonderful friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew, perfect for tailgating, but if you're going to get Champy's Chicken, don't take it all the way to Pasadena. Take it back to your house. Enjoy the game on TV. All the great games on January 1st. They're opened up, and you can get it to go and roll in there and watch the great football action thanks to Sterling and that wonderful Southern Fried Chicken and Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Friend of the show, Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South with us now. Connor, first of all, thanks for jumping on with us as we're in travel day and media day window here for the rest of the crew. I appreciate you being such a good friend to hop on. And as a friend, I want to ask you how surreal this is. Number 1 Indiana, the touchdown favorite against Alabama in the freaking Rose Bowl. For an Indiana grad, this has to be amazing.
Yeah, first of all, appreciate you guys having me on here. I love to eat innings for you, as always. Pride myself on that. It is, and I've said it a million times, but it's not going to truly feel real until you see IU take the field in the Rose Bowl, a place where it's been once but has still never scored a touchdown, which is really hard to do for a Big Ten team, especially one that's been there as long as Indiana has. But everything about this experience so far has just been beyond my wildest dreams. And I think seeing these two teams matched up and knowing that Indiana's the better football team, they are the team that has had fewer flaws during the season. I think even Alabama, if you gave it truth serum, would admit that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Indiana is guaranteed to win this football game, but the preamble is so much of what makes college football great. And I never thought we'd be living in a world in which Indiana has a legitimate path to the national championship. It's not going to be an easy path to be able to get there. And Lord knows if Indiana's winning a Rose Bowl, that will be a pinch myself moment in itself. You know, Lee Corso famously took a picture of the scoreboard when Indiana was beating Ohio State. I bet there are a whole lot of Indiana grads that are going to be in Pasadena that if IU even gets a lead against Alabama, they'll be taking a picture. So it's bizarre on so many different levels. And for those of us who have endured many tough moments of Indiana football, we're just going to be trying to take in the scene as much as possible.
And before we talk about the actual game itself, I mean, you cover the sport too, not just as Indiana guy, but you're from that part of the country, the Big Ten, and now you live down here with us in football country in the South. The Rose Bowl itself, it gets underplayed by Southern football fans, though it was the biggest moment in Southern football 100 years ago on January 1st when Alabama was a Southern team that finally got invited to Pasadena and went and won the game, and here we are 100 years later. But in Big Ten country, it still means something. In Indiana, you know, the first team to lose 700. For my Southern football fan who doesn't get it, explain to them why in Big Ten country this is still a big deal, even in 2025, to be playing in that stadium on January 1st in this game. I know it's the playoffs and it's a path to a national championship, but there's still something about the Rose Bowl even today.
Jim, when I was a kid, I thought the Rose Bowl was the national championship.
Yeah.
You know, I still remember being a kid growing up in the suburbs of Chicago, and my mom grew up right next to Northwestern, and they used to hop the fence to go to what was then called Dyke Stadium. It's since been renamed to Ryan Field. And I remember watching Northwestern against USC in the Rose Bowl when I was 5 years old and thinking, well, this is the national championship. They are literally playing for the national championship, Pat Fitzgerald on this team, and having to, you know, then a few years later understand, no, it's not the national championship, but for the Big Ten, it basically is the national championship. And it's this unbelievable kind of surreal feel to see whatever team gets to play out there, knowing that you don't get to that stage and have an insignificant football game. So yeah, I still think that the national championship should be played in a variety of places. I don't necessarily agree with your friend Joel Klatt that the national championship should automatically be at the Rose Bowl. I think that's too much of a geographical destination, you know, for a lot of these teams that could be competing in it. And I think that would put them at a disadvantage. But I do think there is just something that's always going to be special about it. And you could say that they're a little bit too high and mighty and they stick their nose up to the rest of the changing ways of college football. They're still having this unbelievable venue that I think for so many of us that grew up watching this, not necessarily with the ability to flip over to a different bowl game and watch this or that, it just still feels that much more important than anything else. So I think that getting to this place for the path that Indiana's been on, it's going to make it that much more special.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South with us. You can read him at SaturdayDownSouth.com, SaturdayDownSouth.com. the head writer there, and he has great takes of college football 365 days a year, one of those great websites that gets us from the end of the season to the start of the next season. It's one of my favorite go-tos. And Connor, this actual game on the field where Indiana's a touchdown favorite, getting Omar Cooper back in at full speed, how big of that was that news yesterday for the Hoosiers?
It's really important because, they've kind of dealt with injuries at receiver this year, and you haven't really known. Like, they're without Surratt for a decent chunk of the year. And I said on this show coming into the season, like, there's a path for him to win the Blitnikoff Award, and it's not particularly crazy. And of course, Omar Cooper makes the catch of the year of the college football season with that grab that he had against Penn State, a moment in which Gus Johnson gave Fernando Mendoza the Heisman Trophy. I think the catch was better than the throw, in my opinion. But I do think that getting him back is really important because, if you're going to attack Alabama, you need to be able to have all of those weapons at your disposal. I don't think it's going to be easy all the time for Fernando Mendoza at all. I think Alabama's defense is showing you that they are capable of making life very, very frustrating on an opposing quarterback. And yes, things looked easy early on for John Mateer. I don't think things looked easy in the latter half of that game. And he seems like he was in his own head with the things that Alabama was doing. And by the end of that game, I mean, they were just swarming him. They found that pass rush. So for Fernando Mendoza to have another safety valve, another guy that he trusts along with Becker, along with Surratt, it's very, very important. And I do think health could play a huge factor in this game. And Alabama's a team that's continuing to get healthier and healthier. They're the team that seems like it's getting this guy back, it's getting that guy back. So to be able to combat that for IU, who is dealing with a major loss on the defensive side of the ball with Stephen Daly being out celebrating the Big Ten championship, I do think any guy that's coming back at full strength is going to be important for this team.
When did Daly get hurt? Because I know it's a big deal.
Post Big Ten championship celebration. I think he got hurt like jumping up to like high five fans, and that's like not quite Martin Gramatica if we want to go full Bucks for you.
Yeah.
But it's kind of shades of that. And for those who say like, oh, act like you've been there before, the man came from Kent State. Kent State had one win in a tackle football game in the previous 2 seasons before he arrived at Indiana, and that had 19 TFLs and was an all Big Ten guy and was somebody that was really, really important. So it was a pretty significant development to lose someone like that that's been a big part of their pass rush, a big part of their run defense.
When I look at Indiana, watch them play, everybody seems to be always in the right place at the right time. They're never out of position. By losing a first-line starter like that, could it disrupt the whole apple cart?
Yeah, it could. But they've kind of just kept chugging along. I mean, that's the thing that's been so impressive about this team. Like, Kamara was the guy who came in as the preseason All-American. And you look at some of the numbers with him, you're like, wait a minute, this guy's only got 6 sacks on the year. Like, the TFL numbers, the pressure numbers are the most important thing with him. But he hasn't, like, his numbers have kind of fallen off this year, and in part because Daly's been so unbelievably good. And they kind of just keep things moving. And you don't really feel their injuries in the way that you do with a lot of other teams. And so that's kind of been the tricky thing. And one of the reasons why I think to this point they deserve to be called the most complete team in college football. So yes, it could definitely be pivotal, especially knowing that Ty Simpson in those spots when he's been, overwhelmed by pressure, it's been very difficult. It's been feeling like for a while now, Alabama's offense is very one-dimensional, and not even one-dimensional just, in terms of the passing game, but where you can throw the football, how quickly you have to get rid of it. And it feels like Indiana could definitely put them in some of those spots. And this could be a really difficult game for Ryan Grubb to call, kind of regardless of some of those injuries.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South on the Shannara hotline here. I was about to ask you, where are you on Alabama's offense now? Are you more first quarter Oklahoma or second, third, fourth quarter Oklahoma as they come into this game? What do you expect to see against Indiana?
I'm going to say second, third, fourth quarter. It doesn't mean that they're going to be a juggernaut against this Indiana defense. But my biggest question, can you get those downfield opportunities to Ryan Williams? I know Ryan Williams, remember him? He's a guy who's playing football for Alabama. He's catching passes ideally. And if you are going to beat this Indiana defense, you're probably not doing so with 10-play, 75-yard drives. It's the same thing you typically say about a vintage Alabama defense, maybe even this Alabama defense. But you need to be able to take advantage of some of those risks that Indiana will take in the secondary. They're a very aggressive secondary, 17 interceptions this year, only allowed 7 passing touchdowns. But they do have a little bit of that vulnerability on the back end where they can give up a big-time play. Your best chance to get a big-time play is still Ryan Williams. And I'm not saying that means he's going to be more valuable in this game. Someone like Jeremy Bernard being able to work in the intermediate is going to be really important to be able to move the change. You can't dismiss the ability of Lottie Brooks after what he did against Oklahoma. I mean, just remarkable coming-of-age moment that he had against the Sooners. But I do think that Ryan Williams and his ability to stretch the field is going to be so important for Ty Simpson and what you're going to be able to do against this Indiana defense. So I think that Alabama's run game at this point, I ain't holding my breath. If you're holding your breath in the Alabama run game, you're dead. It's as simple as that. The time has since passed. You can't expect to run the football against an Indiana run defense that's very similar to Oklahoma. And Lord knows Alabama didn't run the football successfully in Norman, but you need to be able to hit on those deep passes. And if they can do that, all of a sudden, that's kind of the keys to this path, this recipe, whatever you want to call it, for an upset.
Yeah. We've stopped selling the run the damn ball hats. It's just get rid of the damn ball hats now. So because it's all passing game now. It's all passing game. Connor, I want to ask you about Kalen DeBoer first before we move to some other games, but he was there at Indiana, and it was a pretty good time of Indiana, relatively speaking, a pretty good time for Indiana football. Now, Cignetti has changed how we judge Indiana football, but how's Kalen DeBoer remembered? And Kane Womack was there too. How are those guys remembered by Indiana fans?
It is a little bit different in that they were part of the Tom Allen regime, which faded very drastically kind of after those guys left. And that maybe has changed how IU fans viewed them, but they were really important, man. They were really, really important. I felt like I spent a lot of time saying early on, like, watch this Kalen DeBoer. Like, watch the things that they were doing with that offense. Because if you remember, when Kalen DeBoer was at Indiana, he didn't have Ryan Grubb with him. Now, he's had Ryan Grubb with him at pretty much like every destination that he's been at, of course, but that was one of the rare instances in which, those two were apart, and they still did really impressive things on the offensive side of the ball. And of course, the emergence of one Michael Penix was really important, even though he ends up, suffering a season-ending injury 2019. But, what Kalen DeBoer did at IU in many ways kind of launched his career and launched him to what, we know him to be today, which is one of the best coaches in the sport, one of the best big game coaches in the sport. So, yeah, I think he's remembered very fondly. I think everybody kind of looked at that and went, yeah, that's a guy that should be an FBS head coach. And it was good that he was able to get that opportunity after having a really good 2019 season at Indiana.
Connor, the other games, the other SEC game first, because that's a big part of what we do and you do as well. Ole Miss and Georgia. If I could sign you up for exactly the same game we had in Athens, would you sign up for that as a playoff game? That was I remember that as a very fun game to watch.
It was awesome. I mean, no punts until the fourth quarter. 2 punts total in this game. Georgia facing a 2-score deficit at home in the fourth quarter. Lane Kiffin just getting every blade of grass that he wants with his offense. Yeah, I mean, no Lane Kiffin this time, but I would still sign up for a game like that. I don't think Georgia would sign up for a game like that. I would tend to think that both of these coaches are going to have more adjustments. I mean, Trinidad Chambliss, in a lot of ways, this was kind of his national coming out party of, this guy isn't just a fun story. He is legit one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football. And then Gunnar Stockton kind of upstaged him in the second half of this game, in which he did not have a single incompletion. Pete Golding has to be able to make those adjustments because Georgia's offense, yes, a little bit up and down at points, but you've seen them when they have that top gear. When Zachariah Branch is able to get in space, it changes what this Georgia offense can do. They've been able to figure some things out in the running game. I know that they're going to be banged up on the offensive line without Drew Bobo in this game, but they're still a team that's been rounding into form, and they're a lot better than they were in that matchup against Ole Miss. And that's going to be the big question is, can Ole Miss, that defense, can they do the things that they've been doing all year, which is bend, don't break? They have had 6 of their last 8 games, I believe. Yeah, 6 of the last 8 games post-September in which they've allowed at least 5.7 yards per play. they've survived and gotten to this point almost in spite of their defense. So they need to be able to figure some things out. They need turnovers in a big way against Georgia. It's tough for me to see any world in which they can flip the script and win the rematch, especially without Lane Kiffin. But yeah, I'm excited for this game. I don't think it'll be nearly as high scoring as the first matchup, but I would gladly sign up for that.
See, you touched on it with Lane. It does feel like this is where the Lane not being there with Charlie Weiss Jr. catches up to him, right? This sort of feels like where you need all the brain power against Kirby and Glenn Schumann on the defensive side over there. You need Lane's brain in the room for this, right?
I would tend to think so. And if you don't, then we're all of a sudden questioning what exactly Lane did. And I say that tongue in cheek because obviously he assembled that roster. He has a huge say in developing that roster. And I know that there are things that Lane has been able to do that go beyond just the result of one game. But at the same time, you would definitely look at that and go, maybe, just maybe, Lane had a lot of help. At the very least, he had a lot of help and he put the right pieces in place. I think if they're able to pull that off, that's all of a sudden the story of the college football playoff. And yes, people would still dismiss the notion that Ole Miss can win a national championship. But if you could beat this Georgia team that's been playing as well as it has down the stretch, we're talking about you in a different light. We're all of a sudden saying, oh, well, you could just beat anybody all of a sudden. And I don't think that's necessarily in the cards, but Georgia is just so much less flawed than it was at this point last year going into the Sugar Bowl, wherein you had Gunnar Stockton in his first career start. That Notre Dame defense was absolutely loaded. We were kind of questioning what this defense was. It was a little bit too herky-jerky. This year, this Georgia defense, it's been lights out, man. Like they haven't had a rushing touchdown allowed since the Mississippi State game. Haven't allowed 70 rushing yards since the Mississippi State game. Think about it. Ty Simpson, Arch Manning, Haynes King, decorated quarterbacks. Those guys have combined for 2 touchdowns against this Georgia defense. So I think if Ole Miss pulls off this upset, I do think it would be the biggest upset of the quarterfinal, an even bigger upset than Miami beating Ohio State.
The first game of the day is at the Orange Bowl, Texas Tech and Oregon. And am I right? Did I read somewhere that starting next year we're gonna use some geography to placing these quarterfinal games? That I think I read that to where the Big Ten champion isn't guaranteed to go to the Rose Bowl and the SEC champion isn't guaranteed to go to the Sugar Bowl. We're going to start using some geography. It makes no sense to me that we're playing Texas Tech and Oregon in Miami.
It's weird. We need to, because if you look at the secondary ticket market, it's not good. It's not good. The geography needs to be factored in with these games. And I know we just talked about what it means for the Big Ten to be able to get to the Rose Bowl and how that's always been so synonymous with the SEC. Obviously, the Sugar Bowl, it means a whole lot to be able to get there. But yeah, you have to. You have to have some geographical flexibility. And if you've got the time in between these games, then why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you put that in place of, hey, we're going to make sure that this is this is actually favorable for fans to be able to travel to, because I think it's a real issue going forward. And you could say, well, you know what, just have these games on home campuses. That changes everything. Well, there are a lot of other powers, financially speaking, that would probably like to push back against that, even though we all are sitting here going, hey, wouldn't it be great if these games were all on college campuses? Dan Lanning himself was like, this game should be in Lubbock, Texas. We should be traveling to their campus to be able to play this game instead of traveling all the way to Miami to the Orange Bowl. Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I would like to see a tweak like that in the future of the college football playoff.
I'm as guilty as anybody, but nobody gives Joey McGuire any credit as a coach. And I'm the same way. I have to look up his name every time I talk Texas Tech just to remember who the coach is.
And I get it. It's the transfer portal hall. So many times this year I've called Texas Tech the fighting Cody Campbells, and understandably so. When a billionaire fuels this type of push and your transfers are this good, then everybody is going to say, well, head coach doesn't get nearly as much credit, and you were able to do this, this, and this. It's almost kind of like the Eric Spoelstra with the Heat, that type of thing, when they were able to get the big three, and you're kind of reminded that this head coach is pretty darn good. I mean, when Baron Morton has been starting in the 11 games that he started this year, they've won all those games by at least 3 scores. And Baron Morton's a guy that was there before. Jacob Rodriguez, it wasn't like he just came in this year. Caleb Douglas is a former Florida transfer. He's been there. They have guys on that team that didn't just show up and just collect a paycheck. And I think that's kind of lost in the shuffle. Admittedly, like, I'm guilty of that as well with all these Texas Tech conversations. They are able to do historic things with this roster because they at least had a foundation. Now, you forgot what that foundation looked like because Arkansas basically got every blade of grass they wanted in the Liberty Bowl at this time last year. But there were still some talented pieces for them to be able to work with. And Joey McGuire knew what he was doing with this team. And there's a reason why they're sitting here with a first-round bye and a real chance to be able to win this game and get to a semifinal. Okay, last question, but you can read Connor's predictions of all the playoff games at Saturday Down South today. I try not to give anybody's article away when I have them on same day, but I will go to your Friday night game prediction. I'll let you go read the outcome and why it's going to happen, but you and I see it differently. You've got a total of 45 points, and it's my favorite bet on the board is the under in that game, under 40.5. I don't know if Miami can score, first off, and to me, Ohio State's best defensive lines they played are Indiana and Texas, and they didn't score a lot of points in those games. And here comes Miami, who I think has a ferocious front seven. I don't think they're going to score a lot of points, either team in this game. You see it differently. Yeah, they might. Wednesday night, for what it's worth. Wednesday night. New Year's Eve, yes. I've been doing the same thing all week, and that's the only reason I said that, because I've probably said that publicly somewhere of like, oh, yeah, Friday and Saturday night. Just the way my editor actually corrected me when the first iteration of my story. Yeah. I had, these games on Friday night and then these games Saturday. Right. College football's on Saturday, the Friday night game. Yes, it's Wednesday night, Thursday. My bad. It's brutal. Here's how I see Ohio State actually being able to put up points in this one. Where Miami thrived against Texas A&M was knowing that, man, not only can they get pressure on Marcel Reed, but they have a guy who, if he's off his spot consistently, then that gives that secondary enough time to be able to recover, and you don't have to worry about the yards after the catch. And so when you don't have to worry about the yards after the catch, it's an entirely different ball game with this Miami secondary. Against Ohio State, that's a different story, because you have a more accurate quarterback in Julian Sayin, who has been lights out when under pressure this year, extremely accurate. He's got, I believe, the best adjusted completion percentage under pressure this year of anybody, because when you can just boop, hit the Jeremiah Smith button, or boop, hit the Carnell Tate button, you're going to be a pretty good quarterback. You just are. So I think that despite the fact that this Miami defense is extremely talented, Ruben Bain might be the number 1 overall pick in this upcoming NFL draft. I still think that they're able to do some things in the second half, make some of those adjustments where all of a sudden they're getting that time for Julian Sayin to be able to throw, and you're seeing that Miami secondary, the area where they can be exposed a little bit, that is ultimately too vulnerable. So I think it's a slow offensive start, especially with Ryan Day back calling plays, with Brian Hartline kind of juggling duties between USF and wide receivers coach now. But I do think that we're able to see Ohio State kind of pull away, take advantage of maybe some short fields as well, some Carson Beck turnovers, kind of makes it a little bit more high scoring than maybe it actually feels like. The 11:30 interview for Connor O'Gara calling in there, so I'll let you go, man. I appreciate you so much. Go read all the stuff up to the Wednesday, Thursday games and afterwards, and then all off season. Connor, man, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Jim, appreciate it, man. No problem. Connor O'Gara there, Saturday Down South on the Shannara Hotline. Show being brought to you as well by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA, staying on top of your health. Whether you're Connor's age or my age, they can help you out. 205-930-0920, Urology Centers of Alabama, urologycentersalabama.com. What can they do for you? Well, prostate health to kidney stones, and everything in between. And early detection when it comes to prostate health literally can save your life. 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. 70 years they've been doing this, 16 locations, 36 great urologists for you. LT and I use them. You should too. Urology Centers of Alabama. 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. More playoff talk. The film guy Brooks Austin joins us from New Orleans. In the final segment of the show, we'll squeeze in a little trash as well. All that coming up right here on The Next Round, brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
We interrupt this program for breaking news from the Gators of the litigation situation. Insurance companies have a playbook. I repeat, insurance companies have a playbook. Deny, delay, defend. They know which law firms will fold and settle cheap. They are not on your side. That's corporate greed at work. At Alexander Sonora Trial Attorneys, we fight back. We have the resource, the muscle, and the will to take them on. And you don't pay a dime unless we win. They fight dirty. We fight hard. Call 659-777-7777 or hit up alexwins.law.
Physical office location, Birmingham.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
There's only one Champy's World Famous fried chicken. Poor boy's tenders, full fried chicken plates, and a little bit of the Mississippi Delta with chicken on a stick and hot tamales. On your way to or from the big game on Highway 119 in Alabaster, stop by Champy's Chicken. When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, again, basketball last night. Alabama beat Yale to finish the non-conference 10-3. Auburn beat Queens to finish non-conference 9-4. SEC play starts this weekend. Auburn at Georgia, Alabama hosting Kentucky in what Andy Katz calls the biggest game in the country this weekend. We'll see if I expect LeBaron Philon to be back in play despite the thigh and groin injury. We'll see. Both teams hit a lot of threes last night. Michigan, Arizona, Iowa State, Vandy. All stayed unbeaten last night as we get ready for basketball. But college football playoffs continue. We will hear from Brooks Austin, the film guy, coming up from New Orleans in about 15 minutes. Brownie is at Rose Bowl Media Days as we speak, as Alabama is taking the podium out in Pasadena, out in Los Angeles. LT and Brooks are traveling out there. Our coverage continues tomorrow from California, live at 9 a.m. Central Time, all day long on our social media platform at Next Round Live. This hour of the show brought to you by Champy's world-famous fried chicken. Before we hit the trash open, we'll tell you that everything is fantastic at Champy's. The hand-cut chicken fingers, the brined overnight cooked to order, fried chicken, juicy down to the bone, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. Champy'sChicken.com. Champy'sChicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. It is Tyler's Trash today, Tyler.
Yep, starting off, we've got probably the craziest Bears fan in existence.
Uh-oh.
Now, we've seen plenty of football fanatics. That's what a large part of our audience is made up of because everybody's so passionate about it. But this guy just took it to new heights. Glenn Timmerman. He is a self-proclaimed craziest Bears fan, and he's had 157 autographs from players and coaches permanently tattooed across his body.
Shut up!
Including his head, arms, legs, chest, back, and stomach. So he's got a full bodysuit of just Bears autographs.
Wow. Not just the Hall of Famers either.
Oh, he's got everyone. Speaking with Mike Berman, Timmerman appeared shirtless in his Bears-themed man cave while explaining how extensive the collection has become. Quote, 157 of them, working on more, he said during the interview, which was later shared on NBC Chicago's Instagram account. During the segment, the signature cover player gave a tour of several tattoos, including a former Bears coach and player, Doug Plank, tattooed on the back of his shaved head above a Bears logo, and a tattoo of retired linebacker Brian Urlacher inked onto his right forearm. Timmerman said the idea began with former Bears linebacker Otis Wilson, a member of the '85 Super Bowl winning team. According to the man, Wilson was visiting to watch a game, and during the night, the fan asked him to sign his arm with the intention of getting it tattooed.
Wow. Forrester? I mean, is there a Falcon ever? I don't think so. I don't think there's a Buccaneer ever. If there was, I can't think of. I mean, LT probably would get a Ram or two tattooed, but I can't think of. I can't think of a one Buccaneer I would want tattooed on my body. I can't think of a person I would get tattooed on my. And I've got a Taylor Swift lyric, maybe a Taylor Swift tattoo, autograph underneath her signature underneath my tattoo. That'd be it. That's insane. I mean, if it was just Butkus and Gale Sayre and Walter Payton and Urlacher, Jim McMahon, but I mean, you got some dogs on there.
Yeah, he says he's got a signature from Mike Ditka tattooed on him, and that one's his favorite.
Yeah.
And he looks to add Caleb Williams and DJ Moore in the future.
Yeah. Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, and Jim McMahon denied his request.
Yeah. I think I would too.
Next up, we have a $400,000 shipment of live lobsters that got hijacked before it hit Costco.
Okay, real quickly, are you a lobster fan? I'm not.
Oh, I love lobster.
Yeah. It's a little overrated for me. I like a lobster bisque, taking a little lobster and putting it into a little bisque. Lobster rolls, overrated and overpriced. Lobster, just eating it, don't care for it. Lobster with steak, no thank you. So it's much to do about nothing, in my opinion.
I love it. Have you had the lobster roll BLT that our friends at Twin Peaks do?
I have not. Really I should try it.
Portion is huge. It will fill you up. Anyway, these lobsters were heading for Costco's in Illinois and Minnesota, and it appears to be an organized operation. The shipment was confirmed missing on Christmas Eve by the logistics firm in charge of getting it from place to place. And the circumstances of the theft, because it never arrived at the scheduled delivery points, say it's deliberate. It looks deliberate rather than routing error or any sort of technical glitch.
Yeah, inside job.
Yeah, they think it's part of a wider cargo theft ring that targets high-value goods, including food shipments that can be quickly resold. The FBI is now investigating it, but no arrests have been made so far. And this has been a huge issue across the country. You'll see, like, cargo train robberies, 1800s style, but everybody's going for random Amazon packages and just trying to see what they get.
I would tell you that probably in the history of lobster shipping, there's probably been a PETA heist at some point where they get the live lobsters and then set them back free.
I imagine so.
Yeah, that was my first thought when you were going to tell this. I was like, PETA got them and set them free, but not the case.
And then we've got a kind of a tragic story coming up next.
Let's put that on pause. We'll do it after we talk to Brooks Austin. He's short in time. We'll finish trash in a second, but let's head down to the Big Easy, and our buddy Brooks Austin, the film guy, joins us now. Brooks, man, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I cannot complain. They got you in there working by yourself, Dunaway? What the heck?
Travel day for Lance and our social media guy. Brown is right now Alabama availability at Media Day in Los Angeles, so he bailed early. So I filled up the time with Rosie Langello, WSFA, Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, and then I saved the meat of the order, the cleanup hitter, the film guy from down in New Orleans. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I was a corner infield guy. I did back cleanup most of my career. I think that's more due to sizeism, if you will, more so than ability, to be honest with you. But I'm excited, man. I always love coming on here with you.
Talk to me first about Kewan Lacey. I see he's good to go with his shoulder, he says, at the media day today for Ole Miss. How important is that for the Rebels? And as you break down their film, to have that run game, because they seem to me to be more Kewan Lacey than they are passing it. They need that guy, right?
Oh, Dunaway, I think he's the best back left in the tournament by a wide margin, like a significant margin. I don't know if there's a bigger drop-off from RB1 to RB2 at any other position like there is at the running back position in this playoff. So, yeah, I'm with you. Like I've been on this kid since like week 3, studying them against the first matchup against Tulane. I'm like, good God, nobody can tackle this guy. Like, this kid has, I think, averaged 200 yards of total offense, like the last 4 or 5 matchups, something crazy like that. And to be honest with you, Dunaway, I looked it up. Did you know that Ole Miss has not had an offensive lineman drafted inside the top 90 since 2018?
Wow.
It's an SEC football team, guys, that has won 10 games a year the last 3 years. They won 30 football games over the last 3 years. Ain't a damn draftable offensive lineman one at the top end of the draft. Now, how are they doing that? They're doing that with scheme, and they're doing that with elite individual talents like Kewan. Like, this kid, I think they said during the Tulane broadcast last week, he has forced over 100 missed tackles this year. They've only played 13 games, guys. So he's making what? What's the math on that? 7?
Yeah.
He's making 7 guys a day fall on their face without touching him. He's great. He's a great football player.
So his shoulder is good to go. We'll see if that makes him shy away from impact. In the first meeting, Georgia and Ole Miss in Athens, that Georgia rallied to win, what went wrong in the fourth quarter for Ole Miss's offense?
They finally got stopped. There were 2 punts in that football game, and I think 3 field goals. So in 60 minutes and, 17 offensive possessions amongst the 2 teams, there were 3 or 4 actual stops. So nobody played well on the offense or the defensive side of the football. What did they do well, or how did they get off the field? Did Georgia's defense? They played man-to-man coverage, to be honest with you, Dunaway. I'm known as the film guy, but when I come on radios and podcast hits and like this, I try not to be too nerdy because I lose audience members without the board, but I'm going to try to do this. If we play a bunch of zone coverage against Ole Miss, we're going to get free access throws. We're going to have no defensive player at the catch point because the offensive brainstem that is Ole Miss is just too good. If you're playing cover 3, they're going to know to hit the seams and the flats. If you're playing cover 4, they're going to know, hey, the flats are vulnerable, but so are the midfield safeties. Let's hunt an explosive. They have the answer versus whatever zone coverage structure you're trying to play. So what every defensive coordinator that I've ever studied, played Ole Miss or played Lane or played Charlie Weiss Jr., what they ultimately resort to is just playing man-to-man coverage. Even if they don't feel like they have the dudes that can cover you, they know it's the only way we're going to actually get somebody at the catch point. We're actually going to make it a non-quote-unquote free access throw for Trinidad Chambliss in this quarter or in this offense. So that's what happened. In that football game, they finally just threw their hands up and said, all right, screw it. We're going to play 2-man, and we're just going to live with the consequences because we might actually get off the field. Right now, we're not. They're just walking it on us. I mean, Dunaway, the first scoring possession for Ole Miss was a 14-play scoring drive. 14 plays.
Wow.
Like, they walked the ball down the field. And then in the second half, Georgia was like, hey, live and die on our sword. We're going to play man-to-man coverage. First play of the second half, Dalen Everett misses a tackle. They take it 75 to the door, score immediately to open up the second half. But eventually started to make him compete from within the pocket, started making windows a little tighter, got off the field. That was the difference. And honestly, I mean, you guys just got done watching it out there in the Yellowhammer State. Guys, they played bump and run man-to-man coverage against Alabama for 4 quarters on that defensive side of the football, did Georgia. And apart from a couple of plays, slap covered them. I mean, absolutely covered them for 4 quarters. So I think that's the major difference in this game. Like, I think Georgia feels far more comfortable about playing bump and run or playing man-to-man coverage against this Ole Miss unit than they did in October when they faced off.
Yeah, and that's on my note sheet here. That's what I have is Georgia's defense looked different against Alabama the second time than the first time, and it may have been the fourth quarter against Ole Miss when that changed, when they turned into the team that finally looked like a Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann defense again. Brooks Austin, the film guy, is with us from New Orleans, Ole Miss and Georgia. I get the feeling you don't think this will be the same high-scoring game that we had the first time around. You expect this to be a little closer to the vest, a little more defensive?
I don't know how Ole Miss stops Georgia consistently. Like, they might get a couple of them, might create a couple of negatives, get them in a 3rd and long or 2. But I expect Georgia to kind of run the ball at will against this Ole Miss unit. They've improved over the bottom stretch of the season against run teams or run defense. They've gotten slightly better, but I think it has just as much to do about the quality of opponent as it does the improvements on the defense. Like, the dudes are the same. They're the same football players. They're the same transfers. They're the same older football players. So we're not going to magically get better in the middle of the season. I think the opponents have gotten slightly worse. So I expect Georgia to be able to run the ball at will. The question is, like, how well does the quarterback play? That's the question for Georgia down the stretch. Just got done doing another interview with an Ole Miss podcast, and I told them the same thing. Like, if the game is going to be Georgia is not going to run the football for north of 100 yards, if we got to put up 450 yards of total offense, 350 of it's got to come from the right arm of Gunnar Stockton. They don't feel good about that. That's not a situation that they want to be in. Now, I do expect Georgia's defense to play a lot better in this time around than they did the first time around because of the 2 cracks. Like, you get 2 cracks at that offense that is based off eye candy, it's based off eyewash, it's based off of manipulation and trickeration and explosives. They're going to be a lot more comfortable. Like, I got done talking to Raylan Wilson just a little bit ago. Raylan's prepped for this football team 3 times. CJ Allen's prepped for this football team 3 times. They have to be more comfortable than they were the first 2 times, playing an offense that, again, is very, very difficult to prepare for. Not necessarily to, like, yeah, you got to execute and beat them, but we got to be in the right spots for 75 snaps. That's the hardest part about this team, and the more and more we see them, the more you get comfortable doing that as a defense.
Before I ask you about Indiana, Alabama, in New Orleans there are people I meet that are New Orleans people, and there are people that do not like New Orleans. Are you a person – I like New Orleans. Are you a person that likes New Orleans or do not like New Orleans?
So I like New Orleans. I would have loved New Orleans 5 years ago. About 3 years ago, I decided that if I wanted to maintain and continue to build on my career of my life, I needed to give up alcohol. I also am a person that walked around at 310 pounds for, I don't know, a decade of my life. And I enjoy being 235. But getting down to that, and I still got more to go, getting down to that has required discipline with what I put in my mouth. And this is a town that is all about drinking, all about eating, and all about debauchery. And I don't really do any of the three anymore. So, like, it's really not my vibe, to be honest with you, Dunaway. But they treat me nice down here. I wish I would have got 3 credentials instead of 2, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we have a good time when we're down here.
I would tell you that I'm that way when I go with my buddies in Las Vegas. They love to gamble. I don't like to gamble. But I have a good time in Las Vegas. But when you're not gambling, there's not a lot to do there in Las Vegas. No. Yeah. So I golf, I catch a show, I eat some food, and then I dabble at gambling just to get by.
Oh, I sat there last night at the blackjack table with a couple of buddies of mine, and I was just chirping the dealer. Once I lost my 100, I'm gonna chirp you quick. And that's all. I have fun watching other guys lose their money or win theirs. I'm good on losing mine.
Yeah,
I like to keep mine in the bank account. Shout out to B of A.
My wife tells me, because I got one friend, Mike Kennedy, who wins every time we go to Vegas, and she tells him, "Take your allowance I've given you to gamble tonight, and just
give it to Mike.
Give it to Mike. Let Mike gamble and win, and then you can gamble it the other 3 days. You don't have to come back with it. Just spread it out a little." Funny. Hey, one question on Indiana, Alabama. If Alabama wins this game, if they upset Indiana, how does Alabama beat Indiana? And I know it's not running the football.
Dunaway, I picked them.
You picked them.
I picked Bama to win.
Okay, how?
And exactly how? Why? I don't know. I got no idea. They're the only flawed football team that it left that I think still has a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's because the quarterback's that damn good. Like, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how they do it, to be honest with you. Like, they're so flawed offensively, but the quarterback's playing at such a high rate and gets the answers so quickly that it doesn't really matter. It's not really mattered the entire time. Now, here's the thing I am majorly concerned about. I know Alabama's going to be one-dimensional. I don't even go into football games thinking that they're going to run the ball. I also know that somehow they find ways to score 24 points in all of these games. Like, have they scored, other than the Georgia game, which they got throttled for 4 quarters, don't get me wrong. But they've been this football team that can't run the ball all year, and they've found ways to win. They've found ways to continue to stack plays, as Kalen DeBoer says, right? Move the football down the field, get into the scoring position, and capitalize. So I feel good about their ability to just manufacture 24 points in this game. My question is, and I don't think anybody's talking about it enough, and I don't listen to a bunch of people, but is anybody talking about how damn good this Georgia or Alabama defense is? Anybody?
Yeah, not enough.
Is anybody talking about the fact that I'd say they're the 3rd best defensive unit left? Like, I think it's Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama. And I think Georgia and Alabama are really, really close, and then Indiana's right there with them. Everybody else is like, hey, can the defense play good today? Maybe. Let's hope. But those guys, man, that Alabama defensive unit is really, really good. And I think they're a real stylistic problem for Indiana's offense. Indiana's offense is based off the RPO and taking deep shots with big, long, wide receivers. Have y'all seen Alabama's defensive backcourt? Like, I think this is a major Dejan Lee football game. Dejan Lee's 6'5", he's 200 pounds, and he's about to see 2 wide receivers from Indiana that are 6'4", 210. Like, he's going to be comfortable. He's going to be fine. He's not going to be bothered by the size or the length or whatever. So I'm very curious to see how well this Alabama defense performs against Indiana. Also, by the way, the RPO structure doesn't really work all that well against a defensive unit like Alabama. Alabama is a zone-based football team now. They don't play a lot of man-to-man coverage anymore. They will on 3rd and long. They'll heat you up. They'll get home. They'll play one man single high. But most of the time, they're playing zone coverage, and you don't know what zone coverage they're going to play. How many times as an Alabama football fan, like the pick 6, have you seen Bray Hubbard standing at the line of scrimmage and then dart his butt out of the box into the deep half right as the ball is snapped. Well, imagine now being an RPO offense. Who do you read? What do you read? What you were reading just changed in the middle of the play. You know what I'm saying? So like that stuff could be really, really difficult to RPO against. Also, like Alabama doesn't distort the numbers defensively. They don't play overloaded boxes. They don't play light boxes. They play straight up defense. So when we're counting the box, how do we count it? It looks even the whole damn game. So I don't know whether I'm pulling, whether I'm giving. You know what I'm saying? On RPO structure makes it much more difficult when A, I don't know what they're playing. B, I know for a fact they're going to be playing zone coverage. So I got to find the window to throw this ball into as I pull it. Oh, by the way, they got a free runner. Better not get hit by him. Very, very curious to see what this Indiana offense does against Alabama's defense.
Can't wait for it, man. Great breakdown. Go follow him online. He's the film guy, Brooks Austin, who is always kind with his time here, especially when I call him. He likes me better than Brown, so it's documented.
Yeah. Not to cast any stones, but Ryan Brown is no longer allowed in my direct messages. I will only be contacted by Jim Dunaway.
Because I call you game week, man. I need you. I want your breakdown. I appreciate you, Brooks. Enjoy New Orleans, the low-cal, low-alcohol New Orleans.
Yeah, the low-cal, no-alcohol New Orleans. We'll have a good time. I appreciate you,
That's
buddy.
a small dot on the map there. Brooks Austin with us on the Shannara hotline. Appreciate that guy right there. Always a great breakdown. And he's the first guy on the platform that's made everyone feel good about Alabama, right? Everyone else is talking Indiana. He's the first guy that's made you feel good about Alabama. Brooks Austin there. Damn good dog. All right. On the Shannara hotline, we get back to trash after I remind you that our friends at Michelson Laser Vision have been doing it for years, taking care of you at Michelson Laser Vision. Mark and Jennifer Michelson, family team there. 205-969-8100, 205-969-8100, MichelsonLaserVision.com. Make the decision to get that fighter pilot vision like Lance got years ago by contacting Michelson Laser Vision. Cutting edge for years. They have laser eye surgery experience, 30 years of doing it with the best innovation, and they have the great backing at UAB Hospital and UAB Highlands location. Get all the details you need online at MichelsonLaserVision.com. Throw those glasses away forever. MichelsonLaserVision.com. Final story, Tyler. What do you have for us in trash?
All right. So I have a little bit of a story to end today on a good note.
Oh, I thought we were going tragic. You got two stories.
I have two stories.
Well, give me the tragic one first. You teased it, and then we'll do the other one.
All right.
We got all day. Everyone's else out of town.
A hospital has had to apologize after a family accidentally had the wrong body cremated due to a labeling mix-up.
No way.
And it was only discovered after the funeral was already over. This happened at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital in Glasgow, Scotland, where morgue staff passed an incorrectly labeled body to undertakers. By the time the error was noticed, the cremation had already taken place. That meant that one family believed they were saying goodbye to their loved one, while another family was left without the chance to hold a proper funeral at all.
Oh, please tell me the other family was having him cremated as well, no?
I believe it was one cremation, one scheduled burial.
Oh, no. It's the worst.
So this was first reported by the Scottish Sun, which said the family involved was left devastated after learning what happened, understandably. Greater Glasgow and Clyde said the incident was caused by human error and confirmed the staff involved have been suspended while an investigation is carried out. The board's medical director issued an apology and admitted established procedures had failed, saying, quote, "I would like to offer my sincere apologies to both families affected. We have a very rigorous process for the identification and labeling of bodies from arrival in our mortuaries until their release into the care of an undertaker. It is of deep regret that these processes were not adhered to."
That's horrible. Surely it wasn't intentional. That's just horrible.
Yeah, that's, I would say, just laziness and just absent-mindedness while at work. But that's one you really need to stay locked in on. And now, ending today on a good note, the CEO of the company Fiberbond, Graham Walker, has ensured that hundreds of his workers will directly benefit when the manufacturer was sold earlier this year. Before agreeing to the $1.7 billion sale, Walker set aside 15% of the proceeds for the company's 540 full-time employees. That decision created...
It's a big number.
Yep. A $240 million pool for bonuses, which began paying out this past July. Employees are expected to receive an average of $443,000 each over the next 5 years, provided they remain with the company, and long-serving workers will receive more based on tenure.
So on top of my salary, I could be getting $100,000 plus extra a year for the next 4 years.
Yes.
Fantastic. I love companies that run like that.
Yep. Walker said the move was about recognizing loyalty during difficult periods in the company's history, saying, quote, "I hope I'm 80 years old and get an email about how it's impacted someone." The company was founded in 1982 by Walker's father, Cloud Walker, and is headquartered in Minden, Louisiana. The company manufactures electrical equipment enclosures and later expanded heavily into data center infrastructure. A major $150 million investment in 2020 helped fuel rapid growth as demand surged alongside the rise of AI data centers, with sales reportedly increasing by about 400% over the last 5 years. And the bonuses reportedly sparked some emotional reactions across the workforce. Some employees used it to pay off debt, while others invested in retirement or took long-delayed vacations. And several workers initially believed the announcement was a joke due to the size of the payout.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, that's amazing. What's the name of the company again?
Fiberbond.
Fiberbond. And what's the guy's name again?
Graham Walker. He is the CEO.
Graham Walker. Damn good job, Graham Walker. That's America right there. I wish every company ran that way. You only need so much money. He was cashing in, making millions already. Give a little back to the people that helped you. Man, that's a great story. That's my favorite trash story of the year.
Oh, well, all right then.
Way to end on 2025 there. Live show tomorrow. Everybody with us, I think, for all 3 hours tomorrow from L.A. as LT travels today, and Brownie's at Rose Bowl Media Day today. They'll join us from the beautiful patio there in Venice Beach, and we'll talk about tomorrow night's game. Ohio State and Miami, and get you ready for the trio of games on New Year's Day. All that coming up on tomorrow's show. But that's it for today. We're back with you on our social media platform all day long at Next Round Live at nextroundlive.com. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.